Brothers and sisters in Islam, if the sun wants to play the role of the moon and the moon wants to play the role of the sun, what happens? You have an eclipse. You have an eclipse, either a solar eclipse or a lunar eclipse. What happens when the eclipse happens? The effect of the sun is weakened. The effect of the moon is weakened, and the stars are nowhere to be seen. In the home, when the father wants to be the mother and the mother wants to be the father, you know what happens? You have an eclipse. It's called the social eclipse. And when this happens, the effect of the father is not felt, the effect of the mother isn't felt, and the children suffer the most.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. How y'all doing? If you can hear me out there, put a little love in the chat. Make sure my volumes is all set well. It's Sunday, y'all. Shame Sunday. We here. How y'all doing? You know how I like to do on Sundays, give you a little reflection of some shameful behaviors that exist that we all act like don't. So I got a couple of videos, I got a guest, and we're going to talk about some stuff today. Y'all ready? Please share the stream. Everybody, welcome, welcome. Give y'all a second to pile on in. And if you don't know what shame is, shame. I'll give you a little definition. It's a painful feeling of humiliation or distress caused by the consciousness of wrong or foolish behavior. Are you conscious? Let me get my pillow. Get comfortable. Okay. All right. It's a little better. Yep. So, here I like to talk about some things that a lot of people don't like to discuss, bring forth some hard reflections of some repeated behavior, cycles that continue, things that are not exposed, the lack of empathy and sympathy for the other gender, which are male. So I'm here to shed some light, always try to bring a certain dialogue and keep you guys aware of the things that we see. Because I'm at elder status. I'll be 46 in a couple of days. Seen a lot. Lived in a lot of places up and down this East Coast. Pay a lot of attention to detail and people in particular. Lived and survived around a slew of men, great guys. So, I'm here. Shame Sunday. We're going to talk about some stuff. So y'all see my title, Protect Our Boys. We're going to discuss the son-husband dynamic, which exists. And we're also going to talk about the sexual exposure of young boys at early ages, which we don't talk about. And a lot is not reported, but it exists. We're going to have some links. We're going to have some statistics, some sites for you guys to go and check out to see that there are resources for our boys as well when it comes to sexual assault. and resources. So, share the stream because it's gonna get a little deep and hot today. I appreciate everybody popping in. Uh, who we got in the house? Welcome to the chat. What the funk is in the house? How you doing, brother? Welcome, welcome, welcome. And we have a special guest. I have a great friend, my sister Tracy, sister in human life. I've known each other almost 20 years now. A great older sister for me. Great wisdom, um, always being upfront and transparent. So she's going to build with me today. I got a call from her last week and said, what is the deal with the son-husband dynamic? So, gave me a great topic for today. So here we are, and I'm going to bring up my sis. Welcome, 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 Tracy.
Hey.
Ooh, I love the background. Awesome view. You looking beautiful as ever.
Let me see. My daughter-in-law painted that.
Oh, that's beautiful. Shout out to the daughter-in-law.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so you gave me a call and you said what's going on with this dynamic. People don't think it exists. So we're going to talk about it today. I got a couple of videos, and I know you have some perspectives about it.
Yes, I do.
No punches, might get a little raw. And it is what it is because the behavior needs to be exposed and people need to change the shameful and foolish behaviors that they are creating, especially in, their homes with their children.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't know, then we're going to give you a little visual. Some people are not aware of the things that they do and they say around their children and the difference in how they raise their boys and their girls.
Mm.
All right. So what you think on the son-husband dynamic right now that you see, your perspective?
I had a conversation with somebody, and they were telling me, the foolery, because that's what I think it is. And I had to really think about that. I was like, something ain't right. I have an adopted son and a son of my own. My husband was in the military, so I had to be mom and dad. Right. And that's something we need to learn how to do. Because, no offense, but you're making your boys soft. Ooh. They're going to end up picking the wrong women.
Let them be offended. Say it again.
You're making your son soft. Sorry, okay. But you are.
Okay.
And it just,
I agree.
I'm amazed by that. And I say it for two reasons. Like I said, I have an adopted son. I've always been hard on all of them pretty much. But youngest son is a gay man out here in Northern Virginia running an entire restaurant. And gay or not, if you say the wrong thing to him, he will two-piece you. And then his mama will come and help out. I'm not understanding it. I'm just not. I'm not. I'm trying to work on somebody right now. You got to turn them loose. They got to grow up. If they up under you 24 hours a day and then he becomes gay, then you mad at the world. No, you've done this to them. So let men be men.
Right.
It
so a lot of mothers are coddling. It's a lot of coddling going on.
Yes, way too much.
Why do you think they do that? Why do you think this dynamic happens? And is it just in single mother homes? Do you see this dynamic in homes where there are also men in the house?
I've seen it in both. And I think what it is you feel that need for your flesh and blood to protect you. But if you got a whole husband in the house, why do you need protection or that comfort that you get from your son? You need to be directing that at your husband and teach your sons how to go find a good woman. And not one that's going to tell them what to do all day, every day. A man is a man. A woman is a woman. I'm not saying we can't do the same things, but I'm saying make your husbands feel like they men. Make your boyfriends feel like they the man. Personally, my husband opens doors when I get in the car, the whole nine. I know my role. Now, if we, if something cap off, we both gonna jump in. But realistically, I mean, I'm just saying, just stop.
Problem,
Lord
right?
knows. Let your sons, your grandson, let them be some grown butt men so they can take care of people. Besides you, mom. Besides you.
Right. Now, how can we create this dynamic? Now, is it creating more responsibility? I think it's a lot with the dialect. I think a lot of women, tell their sons they the man of the house. They speak it into existence with not understanding what it is to be a man, because in their reflection, they don't do anything. They're not responsible for anything financial in the house. They get to lay around and be picked up after, and all these things, kind of lazy. So then they go into women's homes and think that this behavior is acceptable because they've been so coddled at home. A man should be able to take care of himself. When he finds a wife, he finds a good thing, and she should come in and take over a lot of those responsibilities. But he's definitely going to be capable of doing it himself. He can cook, right? He know how to clean up. He has some standards. So again, we treat them, we baby them so they can stay home and turn around and take care of us. Don't
Nikki,
forget
I'll be
about
honest with you. I got a partner of mine. She does the exact same thing. She does it not only to her son, but she does it to these grandsons. And I mean, realistically, the son is in his 40s. He'd have moved back up in the house because he couldn't afford to pay his rent. I'm not understanding this. I think for some women, it's a need. I need you. I got to always have you around. And that's not right. Turn these grown men, turn them loose. They ain't gonna learn nothing. And that's why they can't keep no women, because don't no woman want no weak man.
Right.
They ain't got time to coddle you. They got to get up. They got to go to work. If they got kids, they got to take care of their own. And here you come, you gonna be an extra child? No. Mm-mm. No. Nope.
It's a unique dynamic. I got a young lady who has her perspective about it. Let's bring her up. Get rid of my music. It's them night ducks.
Dear toxic mothers, your son is not your man. Okay? I'm just saying this because you're trying to figure out why none of the women in Lil Devante's life ain't working out. And it is because you, dear, do not realize, or maybe you do, that you are making these young women feel as if though they're in competition with you. And to be realistic, there is no way on earth that they can ever compete with a mother who is obsessed with her son. Dear one, okay, he is not supposed to be the man of the house, because if he is the man of the house, when you do get a man in the house, he is not going to respect him. Why? Because it is an egotistical thing. If you have been telling Lil Devante since he was 3 that you the man of the house, the minute you bring a man in the house, Lil Devante is not going to listen to him. He is going to then buck up against the system and say, you are not my daddy. See, this is why Lil Devante has authority issues. He doesn't like anyone telling him what to do, because he's been a man since he was 3.
Preach. Truth is a light, and it'll set you free.
You having them grow up and go out into the world with no work ethic. They don't have to listen to authority when they're at work. Don't want to work hard. There's a lot of them out there.
I'm grateful I don't have that. I really am. I mean, like I said, when my husband was in the Navy, I was mama and daddy. No, I can't be your father, but I can guide you. And that's something that's important. It's important to understand that once you get your education and you leave the house, you don't go get to live with somebody else. No, you need a job. You're gonna need your own stuff. So I have been stressing that to these two for years. I'm not saying that either one I'm perfect, but I'm damn sure proud of both of them.
That's right.
So
That's right.
no.
And being a military wife and your husband being away, when he came home, you being able to relinquish those duties, those full-on duties that you were being responsible for to him. Am I right?
That is right.
It was hard at times.
Oh yeah. Yes, it was.
Yeah, yeah. But you know, he's a man and he's the father. And when he comes home, he has a perspective of everything. And you know, I've built with both of you guys, and you guys, you know, always talked about that dynamic of you being able to relinquish, you know,
You
and
gotta let it go
respect his role
sometimes.
as a father. And you know, he has some say in what goes down in this house.
That's right.
All right.
As soon as he came home, I was like, you need to be dealing with this. You need to deal with them. Deal with them immediately.
Right.
Never had
Some
that
of us,
problem.
yeah.
But like I said, I love my kids. I love them all. Do anything in the world for them, as well as the grandchildren. But mm-mm. you're not gonna live here past 21. 21, you gotta go.
Right.
And if you don't go to college, it's 18. You got to do something with your life.
You had expectations.
Yes,
Right.
definitely.
And a lot of them are, you know, the last some years, you know, we're not creating that dynamic because we're telling them you're always going to have a place here. Versus they know that deep down inside, right?
Of
We know we're
course.
not going to just let our children be out on the street and all of that. But the
No,
reality of it is you're an adult and you should be taking care of yourself.
that's very true. But you got so many of them out here, their mamas just won't let them go. At some point, if you are a parent and there is a father in the house and you are coddling said son, depending upon how long you married or how long you've been with said man, how long do you think you're gonna keep him? You already got a pseudo husband. So why do I need to be here?
Mm. All the attention. Got to be able to balance that.
Yes, you do.
You know, don't forget about the man when the children come along. They're very important. Yes, absolutely.
Hmm.
And I'd have to say, if I got any great advice from my husband's grandmother before she passed, was don't forget about him. Even though he grew up in the homes, the women that he speak about, he kind of grew up in that kind of environment,
Right.
cantankerousness. You know, men ain't shit, you ain't gonna be shit. So for her to tell me that, I took that to heart, and I already knew it. But her to seal the deal for me as to don't forget about him when these children touch this earth with them toes and fingers. So in
Hmm.
the back of my mind, I always have her there. You know, put them first.
There you go.
So
That's
shout
like
out to you, Bell. Word.
Vernon's been going back and forth to help his mom out with some
Hmm.
medical things.
Right.
I don't go. I stay home because that's something you need to handle with your mother.
Yes.
Now, when she needs me, she calls me. But
Mhm.
that's your job. Although there are other siblings that live closer, it is what it is.
Right.
But I think my husband had such great male role models without a father that he learned a lot. And then
Mhm.
when he decided to join the military, that made him even more regimented.
Right.
So for me, I just, and that's like I said, that's something that we've taught the boys, whether he's home or he's not home. I can't do everything a man can do, but I can listen and I can help you the best way I can. And my thing with the boys was always to tell them about women. This is how you treat a woman. This is how you be accepting to her,
Right.
and it was your choice. So I just, like I said, I know too many of them that I got one that lives across the street.
Right.
His feet can't even hit the grass.
Mm.
You raising not men. You
Hmm. Talk about it.
raise. Stop it. Stop it. Because one day he gonna find somebody and he gonna leave and you gonna have a heart attack. Or you gonna want to move in. Either
Or
way.
you're going to cause a lot of problems within that relationship or any relationship he tries to have.
Definitely. Definitely.
Another word
Like,
of advice from an elder when I was young, you know, your daughter's your daughter forever, but when your son takes a wife, that's a whole different ball game. He is
oh
no
yeah.
longer your son. He is her husband,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, and it's up to him to have a duty and responsibility to his elder when they're needed. You know what I
Very
mean? But
much
you're not
so.
obligated. Hopefully you have a empathetic and nurturing and kind wife
Yeah.
to where, like
Hopefully.
you said, you know, you go take care of your mama. I'll be here when she need me. She'll holler at me when she need me, you know?
And that's the point too. That's something else we've been talking about too, is, you know, although there are other siblings, one does not live in Maryland. One can't do jack squat, and the other one is has MS. So they can't really help. And he's always been there to help.
Mm-hmm.
And when I came along, I did the exact same thing. She wasn't very fond of me,
Right.
but one thing his grandmother said to me, she said, "You're not an in-law, you're an outlaw. Make it so."
Ooh.
And I did. I wasn't taking it, and I was going to stand my ground, but I was also going to be polite. So,
Right.
you know, life is hard. When you're dating, when you're married, whatever you're doing, it's hard when you put another person in that spot. And you got to be picky. I mean, you know, we got to go through a whole lot of dragons to get to that prince sometimes. Sometimes you just get the prince.
Right.
Hello, motherfucker.
Sometimes you love that. Man, that's something. We got another video of the son husband dynamic. I got a couple of videos of, you know, men speaking of actually, you know, eldermen. So now they've lived that life and they're gonna reflect on it. Mama boys. So this is a lot of the dynamic that you ladies are creating. So let's see what this young lady has to say.
A mama's boy will mistreat his wife on purpose. You know why? Because he grew up learning that he is his mother's source. That he is his mother's source for validation, for affection, for love, and even financially. He knows his mother depends on him. So when he grows up and tries to enter into an intimate relationship with a woman, he wants to please the wounded mother more. He doesn't want that mother thinking she doesn't come first. So he knows not to put his wife first.
I'm going off camera because I don't want nobody to say I'm,
his mother is going to feel
feminine,
threatened
okay?
by that. She will feel slighted by that. And it pleases the mother to
That's all I can say.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
We got Petty Red in the building. She out there working out. She don't want y'all to see her out there.
Okay, okay.
Well, this. Did you catch that video? Uh-oh.
Sorry. No, I didn't. I just signed in.
Okay. Let me play it again. I don't mind.
I said no, I didn't. I just signed in.
Okay, can you hear me? We're gonna play it again.
Okay.
A mama's boy will mistreat his wife on purpose. You know why? Because he grew up learning that he is his mother's source. That he is his mother's source for validation, for affection, for love, and even financially. He knows his mother depends on him. So when he grows up and tries to enter into an intimate relationship with a woman, he wants to please the wounded mother more. He doesn't want that mother thinking she doesn't come first. So he knows not to put his wife first because his mother is going to feel threatened by that. She will feel slighted by that. And it pleases the mother to.
Ooh, child.
I mean, I think over the last year or two, we've all seen the dynamic of who sits in the front seat. Even if people were doing it as skits, but it's been some uproar with that.
Right.
So it's And I see a lot
She
of
has.
dynamics. What you think, Red?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. What you think?
Can you hear me? Okay, okay. I mean, she didn't tell no lies. There are men that do that. There are men that do put their mom in front of their wives and children sometimes. Um, and a lot of times it comes from that dynamic between the mother and the son, and they grow up to still be attached to the mama titty, so to speak.
Hmm? Mama boy
So I,
dynamic.
I, I agree with what she said.
It was long and it was cut too. Tracy, what you think?
No. I mean, I love, like I said, I got boys of my own. I love them, but God put on earth a man and a woman, and they both had a job to do. So
Okay.
for me, my oldest son has a lovely young lady who I love to death, and he has never, ever put her before me. I tore my shoulder recently, and I was going to call him, and I said, no, that's all right. I get my husband to take me. So I talked to him later on in the evening. He was like, why you ain't call me? I was like, because you were at work. And he was like, I would have came. I said, I appreciate that, but your dad took me. We good. So no, I ain't making no son my husband. I'm sorry, I can't. Just can't do it.
He's very attentive.
Yeah, he is very much. That one definitely is.
And and sometimes us as mothers have to, be that cut in between, like you said, step back a little bit. It's okay. Daddy will take care of it, because some of them are very considerate and will want to be that dynamic. So it's on us to say, nah, I'll sit in the back seat. You ain't got to make her get up.
I got no problem with that. Sit right back there. Love being chauffeured. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Right. It's amazing.
Right. Yeah, it's like driving Miss Daisy.
Okay.
Go ahead and drive me around, baby. Okay.
Thank you.
I'm not fighting over no front seat,
No.
but the ego of some women, the superiority of it. I can't control him right now, but I'm going to show you that I'm more superior than you. And you have that dynamic. They want
I had that kind of in the beginning of our marriage. And I just, I told her, you ride, you can ride with that, but I'm not going to divorce him. He ain't going nowhere. And we got to learn how to get along. You know, and it's been almost 35 years. So, she good. But you cannot allow, you have to, another thing too, I have a daughter, and I had to tell her, you can't be the man. You just can't. You need to stay in your role. And understand where your role is. Now, being a single mother, you got to do what you got to do. But when it comes to these men out here, you need to be checking whether or not, and excuse me, young lady, whether mama still got her boob in his mouth or he has become a grown man. Those are the things you need to figure out. And that's something that she and I discussed. I'm like,
right.
So, yeah.
I say any man that would move himself into a home with a woman and she's a single mother is a particular type of man.
Oh, yeah.
And I wouldn't put him on a scale of a quality man.
No.
She should be moving into your space if it's that serious. That's just my opinion.
Opinion is right.
Because the superiority in that for her, because at any time you do something that she doesn't like, you're getting kicked the fuck out.
So true.
So women, get the titty out the boy's mouth. Teach them some responsibility, some chores, consequences behind their behavior. And you really have to be precise. You have to have it. Write a list on your wall. They need to check this list twice before fucking Christmas.
There you go.
You know what I mean? And we can't keep coddling them. They need to know how to take care of themselves before they leave out of this house, expecting someone to take care of them.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah. And to know as a man, you're going to work. You got to work, take care of yourself. This world is not going to coddle you. They don't have as many privileges set out for the men as they do for us women.
No. I told you, I got a friend that's just that way. I mean, he can get anything. She will ask her husband to give it to him. I mean, you're 40-some years old. Why can you not maintain a place to live? And when I go over there, I talk smack. I tell him, why are you here? Get up out my chair. Why don't you find something to do? And he'll look at me and be like, Miss Trey, nah. Go ahead now. Ain't you got somewhere to be? That's me. Because it just really irritates me. But you have so many women that do it, and they just don't stop with the father. If male grandchildren, sons come along, they do the exact same foolery with them. I can't get that vibe going. I can't. Nah. They say I'm a mean mom.
Who sits in the front? Your mom or your wife?
Like, why she in the front seat? And I get that that's your mom and everything, but like, you going to the back, right? No, absolutely not. Why? What are you talking about? I'm your wife. Are you serious right now? Okay, come down. We gotta keep having these type of conversations. Every time I link up with your mother, is always a problem. I'm in his life now, so why are you still here? I'm always gonna be here. Okay, but go to the back fucking seat.
Babe,
I'm your wife. I'm your fucking wife.
And I love you.
This is my car. Why do I gotta go?
Babe, I understand we went in this together, but babe, that's my mom. I haven't seen her since Corona.
He can't go to my car. No, but every time she's around, you switch up.
Nah, I'm just saying.
Stop being a mama's boy.
I love you and I love her. I love both of y'all.
Go to the back.
Babe,
Go to the back
babe,
seat.
Mom, please.
Go to the back seat. No, I'm so tired of this shit. Go to the back.
Babe.
You can be his mother, cool, but go to the back. Bitch, I always gotta deal with this shit.
Before we go into that content, I want to shout out my peoples in the chat. Knowledge and Relationships is in the building. Enya is in the building. Arshawn is in the building. I appreciate all of y'all popping in. Yeah. What's your thoughts on that?
No.
He just said, no.
What would you
not
say?
gonna get no back seat. I'm gonna ride where I'm gonna ride. But I'm not that mother. So, like I said, my sons get their significant others. Hey, baby, you can get the front seat. I can sit in the back and be real comfortable. Put my feet up and everything. I just think, and sorry, young man, but you ain't that much of a man that you got to be explaining. Your mama said what she said. She won't get in the back. That's what it was. Wow. Woo.
So he controlled by mama. Should he have listened to mama, or should he have listened to the girlfriend? Because she's not his wife, right? At this point.
She said she was the wife. I don't know if she wifey, Ow.
Even wives behave that way too. So shit, it really don't even matter.
It was just hard to watch that. Like, are you serious? That's your mother? She birthed you, but she want your mama to get in the back seat? Wow.
Just that demanding. But then what do you think about mama having a lot of back and forth with it, antagonizing?
She shouldn't even had no back and forth. She shouldn't have had nothing to say. Nothing. Sit in your front seat. Don't say nothing. Let your son handle that.
Right. Yeah, because he's the one who did it. He opened up the back door and told her to get in, right? Yeah. So mama, he already said, like you said, he already set the tone because you told her where to sit. And she was upset with the fact that mama was hanging out the front, enjoying that space.
Yeah, she was with her arm on the door.
She antagonized it though.
Yes.
She shouldn't behave like that.
No.
But she was giving her back 10 because that was a disrespectful wife. That attitude, all that extra, flopping around with that wig on her head is probably screwing up your thoughts of who you are and your role and your place. Because she is an elder. And like you have to be respecting the man.
Amen.
Right? Down here, open this door, sit down. What you think, sis?
Mm-hmm.
Right, I hear you Feeling back there. Come on, Patty.
You know what it is? A lot of times this is about control. Who can control the boy?
Mm.
Mama want to control the boy because she still sees him as a child, a little boy to her. Girlfriend wants to control him. So they doing things to spite each other. I've seen one of my cousins was married. I'm sorry, my breath, y'all. Um, when they were married, they would literally do things to create a fight because they didn't like each other. Mama didn't like her for her boy, not a man, her boy, and girlfriend or wife didn't like the fact that mama didn't like her. So it was always a continuous fight. And so what the problem is, the boy is not man enough to get in between them and set it straight. This is my wife. This is how it's going to be. Mom, stay in your place. Wife, stay in your place. It should be no arguments, no antagonizing each other. I have made this decision to marry this woman, how wretched you think she is, but she's my wife. Everybody got to know their place. And clearly, everybody don't know their place in that video.
Mm-hmm. In this new society, the lines are so gray because of the superiority mindset. I got to control this situation. And I think you have a lot of mothers who want this dynamic because they don't want their son to be a good man for another woman, you know, especially if they haven't experienced that good man. Now, I done created a good man, and he's going to give this good manness to another woman. That's a dynamic. This is why you're going to keep
son husband. Yeah.
Son
husband. Mm-hmm.
But it says in the Bible,
chooses.
Once you leave your mother and cleave on to your wife, that's where you're supposed to be. Now, you don't never forget your mother. You know, I got a mother-in-law, like I said, she didn't care for me when I met her son. But like I said, I worked my way in, and I wasn't working my way. I was staying. So me and my mother-in-law get along just fine. We don't have them issues and them problems no more. She'll call down here. She'll ask me for something. I send it to her. She want to come down here. I send Vernon up to DC to go get her. Mm-hmm. It is what it is. And I'm just, I think maybe my problem honestly is I have hung out with so many guys instead of women that this is just my viewpoint. I don't need you to buy me a pair of Pumas. I can manage that on my own. But I thank you. I don't need you to take me to dinner, but I appreciate the fact that you did. And I think women need to understand this. And I have, you know, I have 2 younger daughters as well. And I've tried to explain to my daughter, these men are not your money men. They're their mama's money men. Understand how this works. You get what's left over. You don't get the bulk. You get what's left over. And I don't get it. I mean, you raise your son. Why you want him to still be living there? And he ain't paying no rent. And he ain't buying no groceries.
They lonely.
Oh, apparently they've never been outside. Anybody looking for a woman? I got some cousins. Just letting you know, they can cook.
I mean, it's different when you have a man in the house that you are guaranteed to love you, even if it's not sexual. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This man loves me. And some women need that because they haven't gotten that with an intimate mate. So, you know, kind of look at yourself and what you've created in yourself and your character. Because you weren't chosen. It is what it is. Somebody is, somebody's not. It is a spectrum. Some people don't want it and some people do. And the ones who do, you got to put the work in. Even with what you just said, you said that with his mother, his family, you weren't received very well off top. You had to put in work.
Yes, I did.
Now they love and adore you.
Yeah.
But you know, again, that's work because you were dedicated to this man.
That's right.
And when he's away, you had to communicate with these people, you know, without him being around. That's a lot. And it's work.
It is.
Yeah, women today are not willing to do any of that. Fuck your family. No. I don't care about them. You need to stop seeing them, actually. you know, because I'm number one in your life now. So you don't need anybody else. That's amazing. And some women behave this way.
Yes,
so
they
shame
do.
on y'all.
Yep, shame.
You're watching, you selfish bitches. This is what it is. And we here to shed some light on it. I'm just saying.
Buy a dog. You want somebody to love you? Get you a damn dog.
Or a nice pussy cat.
That too. Put some jewelry on it and, you know, stuff that people do. You need to stop, women. Stop it. They're your sons. They are not your husbands.
Where there's no empathy, sympathy, consideration for the male figure. We ain't doing that shit no more. It's a bit much. I'm feeling disrespected for them.
I don't like I said, I've never been that mom. I would never be that mother because I want my boys to know that, you know, I nurtured you, but I nurtured you and raised you so you could get up out the house.
Right.
Life.
I think
like I said, my oldest will do anything in the world for me. I call him right now and say, I need $200 and he'll bring it to me. But I'm not that. He has someone. And when somebody gets somebody, mama, bow out, back up, stop, find you a man. And if you married, please take care of your own husband and stop being worried about your son. He's grown. At 40 years old, you still gonna be washing his clothes and buying him groceries? No.
Yes. No, husbands who say that, like, let him go. And I'm your husband. Like, hello, me, I'm here. So it's not just, you know, designated to single mothers.
No.
Pay attention to your husband. Don't forget about him. But I would say, you know, don't you think our job as mothers of sons, you know, when they do take on a woman, if anything, your job is to guide her, you know, to help her in understanding your son child so she can love him properly, you know, and she can understand him versus fighting with the individual person he wants to continue to be, right?
Exactly.
So we're supposed to help you, you know, ask me the questions, you know, and let's build on that because I want you to nurture and love my son in a appropriate way. Because I'm not going to tolerate all of this. No, we're not doing all of that. Fighting and carrying on, cantankerousness, antagonizing. And that's no. You know, everybody responds in different ways. You have fight, you have flight, and you have freeze. I'm fight. So I just cannot allow that type of energy in my space. And if my husband, my child takes on a person like that, then I know how to not be around. It's okay.
Exactly.
Love on who you want to, but some shit I'm just not gonna accept, you know? Man, so I got some videos. I got a video of a man, he speaks up about, you know, being the man of the house. So, you know, when men speak up, we have to listen. They have emotions, they've dealt with trauma as well. And when they do, it's like they're shamed for it. And I'm getting tired of it because you women are walking around here always expressing your victimization of whatever. I don't care what it is, through the job, through, you know, your womb, through home, anything. But when a man express something has been done to them or they have not been treated fairly, they're shamed for it. So shame on y'all. Let's hear from CP.
And one more thing. Your son is not the man of your house. So stop treating your son as if he is your man. Because what happens when you do that, you're going to teach him to be toxic. And he's going to have toxic relationships.
That was short and sweet. We got another guy. Let's play the next one. Man of the house. Man of the house.
There was an element of son husband, right? In a sense, so I was the man of the house.
So just you and Mumsy?
So me and my younger brother and my mum. So I went to uni, but it was up the road from where I lived. So it was Greenwich, and I lived in Bermondsey. My mum said, "You think you're gonna move out to uni?" Impossible. She said, "Never." I was almost like the father figure. I was the one that had to do the uni, the jobs, the career, and everything else the proper way. But I think the main reason was my mum was very protective. She loves her sons, me and my younger brother, but she was overly protective. And if she can't see you as well, if you're not in arm's reach, it was very difficult for her to feel like she could protect you.
What you think about that?
I guess my question is, okay, it's two boys and it's one mom in the house, and apparently she was more drawn to said older son. So what happened to younger son? So I'm assuming he's hopefully he broke away from that role. But the youngest son, he was like, okay, well, she got him. I'm good. I can do whatever I want to do.
Right. That's usually the mentality, huh?
But for me, I grew up with my grandfather and my grandmother. Okay. And my aunt and my uncle lived up the street. My grandfather would put on jazz and he would teach me how to dance, being that I have no rhythm. When I cannot. Baby, I may be a black woman, but I can't even catch a beat. And they would go out. And so I would either be with my other aunt's house or my great grandfather would watch me. I always thought that was just so romantic that they went out and they were in their cute outfits and doing their thing. I've only honestly met two men that were like that. And it's sad to say both of them named Vernon. I don't know how that happened, but it did. And I don't want to be the man. I want flowers and jewelries and things. No, I mean, ladies, please get you some husbands, some boyfriends, some young men. Just do something, but please turn these men loose. I know another one. I'm not going to speak on who it is, but he just does whatever she tells him to do. Sometimes I just have to shake my head, be like, I want to grab him and shake him, be like, where are your nuts? No, but you can't really ask that question.
Child, I like Tracy, yes. I like you.
Thank you, darling. But I'm an old woman and I done seen it all. So I just can't. No.
And we've seen this dynamic. It exists.
No.
So for people out there who don't think it exists, it exists. And these men are being affected by it.
Nikki knows my oldest son. And if I say, me and your daddy going out of town, when my granddaughter was younger, you need to come over here and watch your baby. That's what I meant. And I had no problems. I mean, we be in Jamaica FaceTime them. Hey, everything, she's still breathing. Okay, then love you. Bye. But you have to. I don't know. I don't know. I had an uncle that lived with my grandmother most of his life. Matter of fact, until she died. He didn't go nowhere.
Some of them, yes, it's a dynamic created. They might be afraid to go out. You don't let them go arm's length. You know, it might even create a fear for them to venture, to try risky things. You know, I mean, we don't want them out there doing too much risky shit, but you know, to go out as a man and venture, you have to venture out to learn about the world around you. Can't learn it from sitting up under your mama in here watching the goddamn soap operas and shit. No, watching her do her makeup and all. No. They need to be building, using their little brains, reading a book. They're not doing nothing. They think they're just going to raise themselves, especially without a man around to teach or model anything.
You know my situation with my youngest son. My youngest son is a gay man living in this world with a 6'5" white guy. And I'm okay with that. And they are married. My husband had a little problem with it, but it's okay. And when we go to their house, I don't treat them no different than I would any other man. I don't care if you're gay, bi, tri, or straight, you're still a man. And that's how I'm going to talk to you. And it just, like I said, I've got partners of mine that their son can go grocery shopping in her refrigerator. He can take a bath and not wash out the tub. He can live under her roof and pay her $30 for some rent.
A grown person.
A 40-some-year-old grown man with 3 grown sons. And if you're out there listening, I hope you know it's you, boo. I just cannot, I can't see it. I will help my children. I will fight for my kids. I will take you out behind them. But to coddle you and still have you on my left breast, that's not going to work for me. I got places to go and things to do, and you can't go with me. So I just think there are good men out here, but there had to be something in that mother's past that needs to hang on so freaking tightly. You know, let them go. They got to get out there and smell the air. They got to do something. And it's just, I don't know. That might be why my granddaughter, stopped dating her grandson, because
he had no balls.
He had some, but I think they were in her purse.
I mean,
He got to get them I don't think he got to use them every day. No.
Oh, Jesus, I can't.
I mean, sweet. Honestly, there are some women that will hold on to them. They will make a necklace or a bracelet out of them.
No, sir.
Oh yeah. Yeah, right. Me too.
You know who you are.
Yeah.
Red, what you think about the oldest son, having that dynamic with the mother? Like Tracy said, he didn't even think about the younger one, right? The younger one is probably coddled because the oldest one is taking on all the responsibility.
Well, let me go into something real quick. So not only do these mothers do their sons like this, but they do their daughters like this as well. They leave them up to raise the children instead of them. I've seen so many kids are taking care of their siblings. They're raising their siblings. Why mama do whatever, I don't know. We have a case now where mother left a child, 2 kids for 2 months.
Yeah.
Where the hell she at?
2 months.
2 months.
Been there,
12
darling.
and a 3-year-old.
Yeah, I know what she's saying. Been there and done that.
There's this dynamic now with a lot of these single mothers that they are using the older kids to raise the younger ones. Stop having babies, ho. Stop having babies.
For real.
You can't raise them, stop having them. So now you have this dynamic with the men, these boys that you're raising, they can't even become a man because you're raising them to be a wife. You're raising them to cook and clean and take care of kids like you're supposed to be raising your daughter. But you're raising your son like that. So now he's a whole punk, a whole simp. Can't keep a woman. Or if you get one, it's one that's running him. Boys usually tend to go for women like their mothers. So guess what he's going to get? A domineering, masculine, toxic woman, just like his mama. But Tracy, I like you, girl. You got me out of breath on this thing. You
so
said it,
sorry.
sis. I agree with everything you said.
I'm an old woman, and I done been there. And Nikki has known me for many moons. She is like my daughter. My husband loves her like his own. And believe me, she has always known I shoot straight from the hip. And when I called her about this, I was like, look. But it's just, if anybody listening, look, Mom, I don't care how old you are. I don't care what you look like. Go get you somebody who's going to love you back, that's going to honor, bless, and take care of you. Your sons cannot do that. They need to find lives of their own. And sons, don't go out here and pick women like your mama telling you where you can go, when you can go, how you can get there. We sitting on ours. Now, you got to figure this out. You got to be a man. That's how God brought you here. If he wanted you to be a woman, he'd have gave you a vagina. Done. Just kidding.
Okay.
Oh,
if y'all can see my face right now.
It needs to be a lot more.
Love it.
It really is. But we have that clip of the woman left her damn children. Goodness gracious, child.
That's funny. Okay, do this. You look sickening, darling. Do you want to see it? Okay, look at yourself. Oh my days. Okay, get inside. It looks pretty there. Thank you, Jessie. You're welcome. Do you like it? Okay, cool. But yeah, continue.
Protect our boys. You on mute, sis.
I had to come on camera for this one. Hold up. Is that what we doing now?
Yeah, they've been doing it.
Sure. If the father's letting the moms do their sons like this, I'm confused.
Some are probably even in the
I'm
house.
really confused about that.
You know, superior now in the home, so you know they control the dynamic.
Yeah. And now we see why we have all these kids that are confused about their sexuality.
Right.
They don't know what they are. Why? Because mama doing stuff like this. My mama treat me like a girl because she wanted a girl, so she's gonna do me like a girl. But she wanted a girl. I came out to be a boy, so she's gonna put makeup on, so me like a girl because that's who she wanted. She wanted a little girl. You gonna treat me like a little girl?
Well, she
I
wants
cannot. Okay.
a sensitive, emotional man that can connect with a woman on that type of level. Get the fuck out of here. Tracy, you like you said, you have a gay son, grown ass man, 30-some years old. Have you ever did he dress up in makeup and do any of that as a little boy? I'm just
Hell no.
Man, like you wouldn't know. He said,
no.
I'm gay.
No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. Especially if he opened that mouth of his and you say something that he don't like. No. His husband don't dress like a woman. So no, you are teaching your children to do this.
Absolutely.
I knew who my son was. We did not comment on it because I politely told our son that when you are ready, you will tell us. But that's not going to stop us from loving you. Now, my husband loves the greasy ground that little one walk upon.
I do too.
I know. And he loves you too. And girl, that boy with two-piece somebody. I mean, a gay man and all, he ain't having it. He gave parades, he does all of that. But no.
That wasn't a dynamic that was created in a home. He saw a masculine father. He, you know, behaved in a boyish way. You know what I mean? Like there was no, you know. Right. You didn't do anything to him.
You're wrong.
Right.
Whoever you are, young lady, you're wrong for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sorry you didn't get a daughter, but you should have tried again. You know.
Well, if people, I mean, I just think if you having children with this ideal mindset, something's wrong. Because first of all, it is one of the most dangerous things for us women to do is to go through a full-on labor and have children. Like it is really a hard thing, let alone creating and, you know, growing and developing a young person to adulthood. It's a lot of things that we need to, you know, monitor how we behave. We don't push our traumas and our dysfunctions onto our children, you know, especially if we are self-reflecting before we have these kids. It's things that we had done in our childhoods and our families that we may not want to continue into this new child's life. You have to be very mindful of how you're moving. And if a young boy is growing up in a home where a mother is, her full attention is to throw clown makeup on all day, I mean, this is what he's going to see. Always on TikTok, propping up the phone, like I'm cute, all of this concern, shallowness, like different people in and out the house, or even nobody. Like they see this dynamic. They're going to have a reflection of how they're being raised. So we giving y'all a visual of some stupid ass, you know, shameful behaviors. And, you know, we're going to keep it going because we need to get it together. We need to save our men, our boys, because they grow up to be men. And y'all are not doing a good enough job Y'all complaining about the men out here ain't good. So I would say a good man is a prize, right? Because if all men ain't shit, then that means when you find you a good one, he's the damn prize, not your ass. Because we act like, we come a dime a dozen. Yeah, I don't know. They need to they need to run you through a scan test to see if you're all real. You know,
Okay.
struggle for them out here to find a quality woman, just like it is to find a quality man.
Exactly.
But you got to be quality. You have to be quality.
Mm-hmm.
The fuck? Everybody ain't quality. You think you are. You put yourself on a pedestal, but somebody else has to do that. Somebody else has to say you're worthy. You are the shit. Right. And I want to be with you for the rest of my life, goddamn.
Exactly. Come through now, sis. Yep.
I need proof.
That's pretty much what we did, ain't it, Nikki?
Where the receipts at?
Right.
Where they at?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's pretty much what you and I have done. You know, you have to create yours. You just don't get the option of just letting them run amok. You gotta give them something.
Let's see how mothers are behaving now. Let's see.
Like I said, I know my son is gay, and we good with that. We okay with that. But every time he walks into that restaurant that he is the general manager of, you either gonna get one or two things. You either gonna get the Chris that we know, or you gonna get the Chris that you don't want to know.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay, you gotta say that.
I'm just not understanding.
And he fine as hell. That's one good looking brother. He can be on GQ. Lord have mercy.
He all right.
Mm-hmm.
Then I got a 6'5" one. That's that's our adopted son, and I just no.
The gentle giant.
Yeah.
Good Lord. Yeah. We're gonna show you about some of these mothers because not everybody is taking care of their shit. I say it a lot. Don't let it fly, but we know women are out here mishandling their children. Crazy.
Right.
And we need to find some shame in it. Families need to step in. Her ass is not good enough to be raising them damn children.
Got one of those.
You know what I mean? Like Tracy had to take on many kids. Grandma, Fosters, because a lot of you hoes ain't out here taking care of your damn responsibility. It is what it is. It is your responsibility. Whether a man decides to stay or not. Making this a conscious choice. My body, my choice. You guys are making some horrible ass decisions. So it's our job as elders to teach these young ladies to not repeat this shit. Stop it. Let's see this video.
Tonight, after investigators say her 2 young children were found in deplorable living conditions.
The 12 and 3-year-old were left alone to fend for themselves for nearly 2 months. ABC 13's Brooke Taylor is live outside the home where all of this happened. Brooke?
Yeah, all of this really hard to believe. Now, the mom left about a few months ago, but they moved into this home a year ago, and the children were never enrolled in school in Texas. So officials tell me it was really easy for all of this to just go unnoticed. Inside this home, a nightmare for 2 young children, 12 and 3 years old. Roman Forest Police Chief Stephen Carlisle says they were abandoned for nearly 2 months.
There was no food in the house. Everything was empty. There was some dry beans and some spices is about it.
Their mother, Raven Yates, left them in late September, he says. There's been a warrant out for her arrest since December. Investigators say the 12-year-old never told anyone because she was threatened by what might happen to her little brother. They have different fathers.
And she was afraid that her father was going to take her and leaving the 3-year-old by himself.
Fearful, she obeyed. She'd call her father, saying mom was working and he would send food. According to police, he's a music producer in California. He called police once family members spotted Yates in Mobile, Alabama, where she's from, without her kids.
When he got a call from his ex-mother-in-law and he put 2 and 2 together, he caught the first plane over here.
Investigators shocked to see how they were living.
The officers checked the bedroom of the children and discovered heavy urine odor coming from the 3-year-old's bed.
Yates continues to be active on social media, posting to her thousands of followers as investigators work with Mobile police to arrest the 31-year-old's mom. She's wanted on 2 counts of abandoning or endangering a child without intent to return. She hasn't responded to our messages.
A 12-year-old cannot take care of a 3-year-old for a long period of time. It's dangerous, especially over a month and a half. It's dangerous, it's irresponsible of a parent.
Now, Yates also has a 14-year-old girl. She was reported as a runaway around the same time when police say she left the younger children. Tonight, though, police tell me all 3 children have been reunited. They are safe and they are with a family member in Alabama. We're live in New Caney. I'm Brooke Taylor, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
Shame.
Fire and brimstone. Fire and brimstone. Now, when I was telling King about this situation before a lot more came out, he was like, "Well, gotta look at it objectively. Is she alive?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, she alive, but she posting on social media. She's still twerking it up. She's still IG modeling while her children are home by themselves for 2 months. 2 months? I can't even be away from my son for 2 hours. You talking about 2 months. So that means you ain't give a shit about them children from the beginning. And I'm cussing on a Sunday. Don't forgive me.
Amen.
But that burns me up.
Mm-hmm.
If you knew that you didn't want to be a mama, why y'all keep having these babies? Because with the first one, you knew with the first child ain't keep a nigga. So why do you think a second and third baby was going to keep a nigga? Because that's all they have them babies for, is to try to keep a nigga in a paycheck.
Mm-hmm. And claim
that's all they have them for.
No.
Right.
I mean, it's a carrot.
Yeah. Why do you think all these girls that know that Future and Neo and all them people ain't going to really be in the child's life, but they still keep going to have babies with them and knowing that they got $18.99 baby mamas? Fire and brimstone, y'all.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we've been watching TV shows with, slews of women, 8, 9 women coming on the show, have children with one man. It's like, so it's not something new.
Like, what do you think about your coochie is going to make this man commit to you? He a whole sis. He got 36 babies.
I just think about what.
And 100 baby mamas. Like, what's going to change? Nothing. All coochie is the same, honey.
The social media effect is it's horrible. It's really traumatizing even grown people. So it's not just limited to people, because if social media is more important than your children, I think a lot of people need to start being psychologically examined before they have children.
It's a drug.
Like,
it's a drug.
It's amazing because they started from birth. Like they in the hospital, pictures, boop,
Mm-hmm.
boop. The time when youngest, almost 23 now, where, back in our day, we had the disposable cameras. And I was very reluctant to take the baby pictures with, you always want to take the little bath picture and all this other stuff. I was pictures because I knew somebody was going to be developing that film. So somebody's developing that film, they're going to be looking at that even, so I knew that was, y'all are doing too much.
Everything's automatic now, sis.
And not doing enough, for the best effects in their life. Like, how dare you leave a 12-year-old to take care of a 3-year-old and create a fear in that child to not tell anybody? Because, if you tell somebody,
right,
they're gonna come take your little brother and you ain't gonna be able to see him. Like, that little girl's a carrot, because there's a father on the other end of that that's probably capable of having that child. Like, what's wrong?
And I will be interested to see who is the father because they say he's in the music business. I'll be interested to see who was the father and what was the dynamic of him actually getting custody, or was there a custody issue? Because a lot of times, sis, when there's a custody battle, women do dumb things. They either mistreat the children or sometimes delete the children because they don't want the father to have them. So I would be interested to see what's happening with this.
It's amazing to know this, and the court systems, still a lot of them find in mother's favor when they're not freaking fit. What you think, Tracy, about that video? Leaving them babies.
Sis, I need to drop down. I'm gonna drop down, and I'll be in the chat. I need to get out of here. Okay.
Appreciate you. Later. Whew. Well, you know about this firsthand, huh?
I can't even comment on it at this point because you know what? That'll take me to an ugly place that I'll be ugly all day. My whole thing has always been about children because I grew up by myself. So taking in foster kids and making them my own, it is what it is. I don't care who you are, what you do, whatever it is, your children are your children. I don't care if you like them tomorrow and don't like them today. They are your children. And that is just the way it is, period. I mean, nobody out here is perfect, so I ain't going to talk about folk. Ain't nobody perfect. We've all made mistakes, but it is what you do after you make those mistakes. You have to figure your life out. Like I said, I can account. I ain't never been a perfect mother, but I do the best that I can. If my daughter calls me today and says, Mom, I need $100. If I got it, I'm going to give it to her. I just don't understand, but it's not for me to understand. We just don't come here knowing how to be parents.
Right.
We don't. And my big thing now is, I got to have forgiveness for a lot, not just for myself, but for others. So, and that particular topic, it is what it is. It was what it was, but it's something else now. So for that, I'm truly grateful for, because everybody doesn't grow, I mean, that woman, here she is, and she done left her two there, not for a couple of days, but almost 2 months. Girl, what was you thinking? And I'm going to direct this to you, and I hope you can hear me. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. And for that, you probably need to go and get fixed. Shame. Ooh.
Yeah. Topics is gonna get harder. It's gonna get a little deep. People don't talk about the traumas and abuses that happen to young boys. And like I said, these phones listen to you, because I got on the other day and, this gentleman popped up and he's very transparent about the traumas he experienced as a young boy and how it led him to move and behave as a grown man. Yeah, let me see if that's the one. Is that it? Bitter mothers.
This is going to be a hard pill to swallow. But if we be honest with ourselves, a lot of our mothers were bitter bitches. I remember being in the backseat and my mom trying to run my dad over in her 1988 Thunderbird. No matter what they was going through, nothing should have been worth her using her vehicle as a weapon to try to take him out. But somehow we got this narrative that it's mama, she did all the sacrificing, it was mom, she was strong, it was mom that had nothing wrong, she was the good person in the situation, when a lot of times they was the evil one, they was the toxic one, they was the bitter one. They didn't have good coping skills and they ran the other parent away. Nobody wants to go through stress, even if they got a child. Sometimes a person is going to choose their own mental health over trying to take care of a child with somebody that's making it impossible to take care of them with. Come on, let's keep it real, y'all. Let's stop this bullshit. And ladies, let's start taking accountability.
You heard him. We all about accountability over here. He experienced that firsthand. There's many men that have experienced this firsthand. but we don't like to listen to them. You know, they soft. They talk about traumatic situations, and their mama ain't being shit.
I got a nephew that I love to death. The person that had him was not capable of raising her hand, no less a child. So, of course, I took him in, raised him, didn't ask him for a dime, didn't do none of that. My other two children, my younger children, they loved him to death, got the portrait hanging in my hallway. They felt as though, oh, she getting money for him. Oh, we got to get him back. I ain't go to the state, the city, or nothing to ask nobody for a darn thing. Of course, you know, I'm not going to fight you. So, of course, I gave him back. He went from one place to another place. Thank God a lady adopted him and raised him, and I'm grateful for that. And we talk a lot. And I tell him all the time how proud I am of him because he's in the military. He has two little babies, my babies, that I love to death. But you get tired of just the BS that you got to put up with us as women. We say a lot of stuff. We do a lot of crap. And sometimes we have to understand that we've lived our lives. Let's help our kids live theirs. And I just, I raised my oldest granddaughter, God bless her. She a pain in the back, but she all right with me. But I made sure that she was accountable for the things that she did and that she also had a voice. And that was important to me. And of course, Nikki, you know that because yours and ours ran together. But you have to understand, nobody's born a parent. Not everybody understands the dynamics of being a parent. And older people like myself, a lot of people my age think that, oh, my husband's supposed to take care of that. My man is supposed to take care of it. My son is going to take care of it. No, you brought him in here. You try to take care of some of this. Raise your children the best that you can and just stay on your knees and pray that they'll turn out good people. That's it for me. Like I said, nobody's perfect. Ain't none of mine perfect. I ain't never been perfect. It is what it is. But she need her behind whip. She need a behind whip. She need to go to jail. She need to go to jail. She need to go to jail. Point blank. And you still out here posting your big self out here, whoever you are, young lady. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. You ought to take some stock in what you did. Or you should have kept your legs closed, and then you wouldn't have had to worry about that. And then you could hang in the streets all you like. Thank you.
Started with baby boy. Mama got to have a life too.
Your mama got to wait until these kids grow up because she can't get a life.
Mama was living her life with her legs wide open.
Yeah, well, how that work out.
And to me, it's a marriage. It's a marriage. It is about duty, honor, and responsibility. And it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work because each child is different. They are individuals, and what worked with the first child may not work with the second child or the third or the fourth. You got to learn all over again with each one. It's not easy. And I don't think they really understand that. They have been taught and watched on TV with, the teen pregnancy. They had all these shows over the last 20 years. So this generation done come up and saw a lot of shit. And they think they can blow up overnight with their baby in the screen. They're looking for a possibility, which is a small probability. They're senseless. I think a lot of people need, psychological evaluations in order to be a parent. Like it needs to be a conscious decision instead of just, oops, I'm pregnant. So what are we going to do? This type of mentality needs to stop. This is why we're here. This is why Roe v. Wade has been overturned. We have been abusing our society. A lot of us are infertile. Don't even care to check, pay attention to their body. Like I talk about this all the time. Teaching the wrong things. Go out there and get the bag, but you don't know nothing about your hormonal balances. and how to take care of yourself, and that you should stop a birth control after 2 years and let your body rest. Like, it's so many things that you need to do to take care of yourself. And y'all worrying about this damn makeup and lashes and wigs and weaves and ripping off your hair. And, you know, it's really becoming really senseless. Looking like Muppets.
Yeah. I have a friend of mine who they have been struggling to have a baby.
Absolutely.
And I feel for them because I think they make really good parents.
Right.
I really do. And I have been like, I know somebody who will have you a baby. Do you want me to check into that for you? You know, because I mean, I can't relate to it because I had kids.
Right.
So I feel, like I said, I really do feel bad for her. But I have asked her on several, and I've also told you, you can always adopt. You know, your child ain't got to come directly from you, but that's still going to be your child.
Right.
Regardless. You feed them long enough, they'll all look like you.
And they have to be willing to be, you know, genuinely love this child that biologically is not theirs.
Yep.
A lot of people don't have it. You have a generation of people who don't even want their grandkids. God forbid they left like that, you know? A grandparent would have known that those children were not being taken care of over 2 months. What kind of relationships do we have with our community? Is it one? We can destroy communities. Women have been known to destroy them, and especially with our behavior, because if nobody can't tell you nothing, how are you supposed to learn? Can't nobody tell you nothing.
I'm trying to figure out, where were the neighbors? I mean, you didn't see foot traffic for over a month, and something in your mind did not say to you, hey, maybe I need to call somebody to find out what's going on over there. But you got so many people now that say, it's none of my business, I don't want to get involved. Yes, if it's in your community, you should be involved. You should be finding out what's going on. And then the house wouldn't have smelled like pee. Your kid would have had food and the whole nine.
Right.
I'm just, like I said, nobody's perfect, and I include myself in that. But you got to do better than this.
Right.
If you don't want the kids, please, you could have sent them to the father. You could have did a whole lot more than what you did. And when
No,
you
she
come
won't be
home,
able to dangle it no more, sis. I mean, she will not be able to dangle that possession in that man's face, because if he is a producer and all of this, obviously she's getting some child support. You're getting some type of support from this person if you don't want the child to be taken away, you know, to create that fear. It's an automatic paycheck.
It's something. I mean, I just, like I said, ain't nobody perfect. No one is perfect by a long shot, including myself.
We should try to be when it comes to our kids.
But we do the best we can with our kids that we know. And then if you're not taught those skills, this is what you end up with. I don't see myself leaving my kids, especially no 3-year-old with a 12-year-old. And then the 14-year-old goes and gets ghosted. And you live in that beautiful home, but nobody notices you're not moving around. That's crazy to me. Crazy.
Yeah, this is why.
A time where we took care of our communities and those around us. People don't do that anymore. They just too worried about self.
Well, I'm gonna show you why right here.
Just be a slut.
Women, sleep with who you want to sleep with. Do it however much you want to.
I f***ed 3 dudes in one night.
I went to a party. I had sex with 3 different guys in one night. I cheated on my boyfriend with a guy I told him not to worry about.
If he goes on vacation with his boys, I am cheating.
I think women should stop sleeping with men, to be honest.
When I'm in a relationship, I don't believe in spending my money on my man.
Like many women, I didn't need a man to buy my house, to buy my car, or keep my lights on. I don't need you guys for anything.
I don't want a son because they're the problem.
I can sustain myself financially, I can make myself happy, I can make myself orgasm. Like, what in the world could a dude offer me?
You don't need a man to make you feel better, babe. Do you know what you need? An iced coffee.
Independent and your own money, and I don't need no or no man, because man ain't.
I don't need no man.
Yeah. think of that?
I mean, it's not about a need, it's about a want. It's not about a need. It's about a want. And those young girls that were doing all that yakking, apparently your parents are paying for your adventures and your fun. But I mean,
we were brought here for one another. You know, even if people's personal preference has changed over time, there is an order. You know, so when women have this mentality of what they don't need, so you need a man when you need his sperm to create life, even if you get it from a goddamn hospital, it still came from a man.
And the fact that you're doing 2-3 dudes in one evening, if you don't need a man, then what's with that?
Right. A
And then
penis
you
and a
get
paper.
pregnant and you don't know who. So
This is the
like I
mentality.
said,
That's
I'm old.
A lot of women, and it was a variety of ages and races. So it's not just designated to, you know, our people. Shame on you, heifers. What the fuck is going on around here? And I see a lot of it more and more. I don't need a man. I don't need a man. Yeah, okay. We heard you. Move the fuck out the way for the people who do. And like you said, you can take yourself to dinner. You can buy your sneakers, but your husband has always been needed and necessary in your home. It's not just because you want him. You need him.
There you go.
Y'all getting older now. Listen, I might fall in the shower.
And I may need you to come help me.
You know, I need the guidance. I need the intelligence. I need the logic. I need that difference in hormonal fluctuation, the way that he can control his hormonal balances. It is different. And I have learned to watch and tame myself by him modeling a certain type of behavior and mentality. Pick up a motherfucking book. It's a lot of things I got from my husband. And before my husband, I had my brothers and I had all them niggas on the street. Y'all know who y'all are. Y'all taught me so much. Y'all protected me so much. So when I hear, you know, men ain't shit, men this and that, I was a hustler when I was young. And I've been in so many circles with men, and they have taken me in and out of town, and I have never been assaulted. And not to say that you ladies are not having that type of experience happen to you, but for me to be around so much, over 50 dudes, and not having sex with any of them, but just to say that they were protectors. I was running around doing, you know, inappropriate things or whatever, but they were good men. You know, even though society created some, you know, bad behaviors and ways that they needed to move to survive, I understood it. But I was never in a situation where they were just straight out disrespectful and cantankerous. But the women they would bring me around, the women in their lives, oh my God. And the only reason I was tame is because I grew up with my brothers. And you know what they would do? Punch me in my fucking throat. Punch me in my stomach. They were my brothers. You talk to me the wrong way. You think you strong. You think you tough. You can do this and do that. Yeah. I mean, I got mine with them. You know, I kicked them in the nuts, grabbed nuts, scratched them up, all of that. But I learned that there was a level to the battle that I want to have with you. I don't want that. So knowing that conflict, I really remember saying this to my husband. I don't want a relationship where when we do come into conflict, that we behave like siblings. And it's crazy to me that we're in a fucking society where everybody is calling each other bro. Boyfriends and girlfriends are calling each other bro. Your children are calling you bro, and you accept it. First time my kids said that, I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not your damn brother. We're not playing like that. Talk to me like I'm your parent. I'm not your fucking friend.
That's it.
I want to talk to each other outside like that. Do that. But we're not going to do that. Just like our parents didn't allow us to do nigga. We wasn't allowed to be like that with them. But when we was out in the street, it was like my nigga this, my nigga that. Respect and honor. There's no more.
No, not really.
We let our children run over us. Y'all are simple as hell. And it's really this, because these occupy our children's time and attention. And they won't ask you 100 goddamn questions of why. Why this, mommy? Hey, mommy, do you want to do this? Mommy, you want to play? Mommy. And even if daddy's in the house and he's an active daddy, they still come to mommy because we are the natural nurturers. Huh, Trey? They
That's
walk right
true.
past daddy. Mommy, can I? Mommy, can I? We have to regulate that. Daddy is just as good. You know, you can ask daddy. You know, it's okay. You understand what I'm saying? We don't do
That's
that.
something I dwell on with the grandchildren. I tell them, did y'all just walk by him?
Ask you, you know, instead of training your child up, it's your responsibility to train that child up. The hell?
I don't know. I like I tell people, I don't know anybody perfect, but when you walk in my house, you better say hello. You better speak to everybody that's up in there. I don't care if you don't know them or not. You still say hello. But I think a lot of problem at this point, and that's I'm with you with the bro. Don't say that. I'm not your bro. Don't talk to me that way. I'm you know, I'm not your equal. You're not superior of me, and I'm a grown old woman. And with my own grandchildren, I've never ever heard them say bro in this household. Never.
Right.
I've never heard it.
Right.
Now, my youngest grandson, he'll say it every once in a while, but he 9. So I just let him ride for a minute. But I
He's not
don't
calling you
understand.
bro, though.
Yeah. No, he ain't never called. No, we're not doing that. I'm Gamal. That's who I am. I do not, I just, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get this. I just don't understand. Maybe that's my big problem. I'm a little older and I don't get it. Everywhere I go, I'm talking to somebody. How you doing? How's your day? If I'm at the grocery store, what is this? Oh, okay. That's me. But you have to, I don't know what the dynamics of the bro part is. That's not your brother. He ain't, I don't get it. I mean, do people have names anymore? Is there names like Tim and Sarah, and even if you got a nickname Cookie? What is no, don't walk up in my house and say, no, bro, I ain't your brother.
Yeah.
I don't even talk to my own brother like that. And he is my brother.
Yeah. And I do. My brothers always call me sis. You can rarely hear them say Nikki. You know what I mean? Unless it's a crowded room and they got to get my attention. But usually it's sis. Both of them. They call me what's up, sis. It's never, you know, by my name.
Well, they don't call me Tracy. They call me by the nickname. And I'm okay with that.
Right.
But at least I still got a name. And sometimes, every once in a while, my brother be like, sis, I'm on my way around your house. Sis, I want a sandwich, that kind of thing. But my brother and I have those type of dynamics, which I love. He crazy, but I love it. And wow.
I mean, most of my brothers, I call them bro.
Yeah.
My husband, brothers.
I mean, I haven't been outside much. That's my problem. I'm missing a couple of years. So for me, I think it's a little different, but I'm still not understanding the dynamic of your son, no matter how old you are, still being on your breast.
It exists.
It does.
Deep down inside, it's a protecting mechanism, whether they think they're protecting their son or they're protecting themselves with their possession, because, you know, children are possession. You don't want it to go anywhere. Even as they get older, you don't want them to take the wife and, you know, move on with their life and put you on the back burner. So they try to create this, you know, I'm going to always be here for you. And which is true. We're their parents, but to guide, to model how we want them to be decent human beings. You know, if we're not modeling that behavior, what the hell makes you think they're going to go out in society and try to be good human beings?
I think sometimes the coddling and the keeping them is just for yourself. You can have a husband and you still want to keep them boys at home. No, turn them loose. They're never going to grow to be a good man if they're constantly being monitored by mom. At 20 and 30 years old, even 40, you still allowing this foolery. It's a problem. It really is a problem. I've always wanted my kids to grow and be able to handle their own, whether you're female or male with me. You need to be able to grow beyond that. And I think I've heard, like I said, I've heard my youngest grandson use bro, but usually he's talking to somebody on the phone.
Right.
And I never asked him, like, what does that mean? I've never asked him, what exactly does that mean? Like, is that your
Listen,
cousin, your friend, who is he? Or
term of
who are you?
endearment, like nigga. It's a term of endearment like nigga.
Yeah, exactly. So I get it, but do you?
I don't
Like
know
I
how the
said,
men would, the young boys won't feel, some disrespect by it because, they hear girls calling each other bro. Like you know what I mean? Back in our day, your brother would be like, "You not a boy? Damn it." But it's such a different time. And if they're if these young boys are hearing it at home, mothers, they behaving this way. We have a lot of young mothers.
yeah, we
And it
do.
really there's no age to it because 30-year-old women having children are behaving this way too. So, if it don't apply, let it fly. But a lot of you bitches is acting like this. We need to do more protecting our boys. I've been coming across a lot of men talking about the traumas that they have experienced, and we're going to get into it. So if you don't want to discuss talking about young boys being abused in our society and having mothers who are allowing this, people in the family who are contributing to this behavior, cycles that are not being broken because it exists, and you guys are allowing your children to be around the same goddamn people that created the dynamic in your family. When you should do better. Protect your children. That should be your first obligation as a parent, especially from sexual abuse very young with our young boys, because some of them reflect on it like it's not abuse. And they grow up to be my man Dontre right here. Let's hear what he got to say.
I do kids sexually.
If you ever spent some time in Shame Sunday, this is something I talk about all the time. Pedophilia is something that exists, and it's not designated to adults and just men. A lot of the children who are being sexually assaulted create this dynamic with other children. And, many of us are not aware because we let our children go in quiet rooms and they go play for an hour and nobody is going in to check, and, we're not observant. And sometimes these things happen. So we have to start to, as parents, create a dynamic of talking about consent with our children, just as young as opening their diaper. May I? Before you unstrap the diaper, yes or no? And it becomes a regular habit that they understand that someone needs to ask permission.
Yes.
To see their privates and such, because even at the doctor asks for permission. They ask me for permission, and then they'll turn and ask the child for permission. Mm-hmm. So it's so many things that we need to teach our children, but we are handing them over to social media, and they're not learning these things to be safe. And this is what this is. To point out the shameful behaviors that we are doing. We are creating a lot by not implementing the proper behaviors in our family and around our children. You really have to be mindful. And again, it's so many families where this dynamic is repeated. If you've experienced it, then you know how important that innocence is to be protected. Even if you don't know and haven't experienced, the stories. You've heard from others. You heard the trauma of other women, because we hear it from the women. You rarely hear it from the men. But again, I grew up around a lot of boys, and they would talk about this when we were really young. We 16, 17 on the stoop, and they talking about they, did something at 9 or 11, and was proud of it. We need to talk about this more, and gentlemen need to be more, be able to be vulnerable and discuss these traumas if it's a trauma for them. And they may reflect on it later once they start to have their children and look at it like, you know what? I couldn't even imagine my son or daughter doing these things, right?
That's the truth.
If you think it's okay as a grown man, when you have your son, you may think it's okay for him. You understand? You might, so what you think about it? That brother was being so very transparent, and you know what? He doesn't get a lot of views because people don't want to talk about this stuff.
But this is a conversation that has been deep rooted within the family for so long. You have been taught not to say anything, or you have been threatened if you say something. So I know, not personally, but others that have gone through this. I'm not going to name names, and did not say anything for years. I feel it was because you were threatened and you were ashamed or fear that there may be a retaliation. I personally think for those men, just gonna start with men first, that do those things, I'm just gonna be honest with you. I think it should be cut off. Period.
I say it all the time.
Cut completely off. And if women are doing it, I think you just need to sew it up and never be able to do anything. I don't know where we get this from. I know growing up, this wasn't as talked about in the Black community.
Right.
You
Any
knew about
community. It's not limited to just ours, and we try to get in these, spaces and act like it is because it's a lot of white boys
exactly.
too as well. So
that's where I heard from all of it in the beginning was by them.
Right.
But we have to stop having a tendency of pushing it on the rug. It's a family secret. You can't. You're going to need help with that. You're going to need therapy with that. And as parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, whomever's raising, you need to get your child or that person that you have of custody with, get them the help that they need. Because if somebody did it to them, they could very well do it to someone else. And it becomes a vicious cycle.
Yes.
Of things that are still swept under the rug. And we ain't even living in the 1920s, 1940s. Right. No. This is, 2023. And you got to be particular about where you leave your children and what you do with your children. And I'm still trying to figure it out. I mean, it's been generational,
I would say, when the children are with each other, have those things, those board games and games and open space, where they can congregate. So it's not being hidden and what's happening. But again, those conversations with your children about consent and, being very transparent about the anatomy of their body and what should be happening with it or not should be talked about really young. It really starts very young to have these conversations. And even in a childlike form, those things are so simple because they're gonna understand more than you think. And as they get older, the dialect becomes a little bit more mature. That's the only thing that changes. It becomes a little bit more mature as time goes on. But I like to, I really don't like to. It makes me feel heartbroken that, I had to bring this stream to life of pointing out the shameful behaviors of, our modern women. And it's no limit to age. It is a mentality. It is a psychological makeup of how people are moving out in this world right now. There's no duty, honor, or responsibility when it comes to being a parent, a mother. We're using them as possessions, and it's a real thing, and some of us really need to understand if we're not capable to hand that responsibility over to the other parent. It's so hard to humble yourself to say, I might not be the better parent. I can still be involved and, be more intentional with them being with somebody else. We're not being that responsible.
And for me, and I'm just going to speak for myself, my parents got married at a very early age. I think my dad was probably 18. My mother was like 15. They had about as much being together as, an ant going across the street. For years.
It's a different time.
Yeah. for years, I had no idea that my grandmother was not my mother, and that my grandfather was not my father, and that my uncle and my father were not my brother. That was the dynamic that was taught in my household.
Right.
Then, of course, my grandfather got stationed in Virginia, and my grandmother and my aunt decided after church they was gonna take me somewhere. I didn't know where I was going. Took me to this house, and I'm looking at these people, but I don't know these people. And so I guess that's when my family felt the need to explain to me, this is your grandmother, this is your grandfather, these are your uncles, that one's your aunt, and that one's your mother. What? I'm sorry, what?
Oh.
So for me, like, I couldn't absorb it then because I didn't really want to.
Right.
I wanted my life to be the way it was. But then I realized, okay, I got a brother. I got a real brother, something I've never really had.
Right.
So my brother and I, we've always been close. My stepsister and I, it just wasn't going, it wasn't going to work. It just wasn't. And my grandmother, I remember, because, you know, they ran a bootleg house. I wasn't mad at them. I didn't even know what it was, but, you know, it is what it is.
Right.
And I would go there every Friday and Saturday and fried chicken and fish because I was nosy. I wanted, I had never been with people who lived in the projects, and I wanted to know what they talked about.
Right.
And I think the more you expose your children to different things, but you need to be careful who you expose your children to. You got to create that barrier. You can't you can't be around everybody. But for me, it just gave me a better sense of family. And okay, so these are my people.
Right.
Okay, do we have any more people?
We the rest of the people. But you
Yeah,
see
we're the
your
rest of the people because I need to meet
you-
all the people.
Right, but you
So,
didn't
and it's
get
strange,
fully
it's
upset with
strange
the
if we
family.
talking about that too. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you get upset with the family for? Did you get upset with the family for misholding that information? Were you upset? Because some people would be upset that they were lied to and live in that for a long time. Like somebody did something to me.
I was angry for a little while until I could get myself together and have a conversation with my grandmother.
Okay.
But
grandma
I didn't
took care
leave
of
the
you.
conversation with just her. I went and talked to my other grandmother because you got to have two sides of every story.
Right.
One gonna be the truth, one ain't gonna be the truth. It's gonna be what it is. But my mother's mother always made me feel like I was wanted. My grandfather was a trip, but I loved him to death. And then I had 3 uncles, you know, and a matter of fact, like I'm very close to one of my uncles. And right now we're having this huge family thing, like the entire clan of us.
Right.
And it's, you know, of course, my job to do some cooking and some other things. So I'm all in. But like I said, Uncle Terry, if you ever listen to this, I want you to know. My Uncle Terry was probably one of the best men that I knew. And Vernon reminded me of my Uncle Terry and my grandfather. And I think that's what I was drawn to. Like, these are good men. Nobody's going to try to beat me, you know, that kind of thing.
Yes.
So I want that for, you know, even for my daughters, my granddaughters. And sometimes I say more than I should in reference to their relationships. But now sometimes I just gotta sit back on it, you know. If you want to tell me something, you'll tell me. If you don't, you won't. But I am that nosy mother, like, and what is going on? And you know, but I realize that you gotta let them find their own way. But yeah, it was a shock. And then I got another shock. My cousin, who grew up in West Virginia, called me and she politely said, Candy, which is what they call me. Did you know Billy was my daddy?
Oh, yeah.
What? You know,
y'all sisters.
we sisters and cousins. is what it is. I can't. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I've known her all her life, so I definitely know she my kinfolk. And some things you just some things I'm not gonna dabble in. I'm just, hey, that's not when I go meet the man, I gotta meet him with the mess I've done. I can't meet him with the mess you've done. So, but yeah, you just I think it was when it was said, I took it in, but I made another phone call. And I made a phone call to her grandmother. And her grandmother was in her 90s at that point. And I asked her, is Billy her daddy?
Right.
She wouldn't answer me. So I said, I got my answer. Thanks. I love you though.
And I think a lot of us, I say that a lot on my panels, that a lot of us need to go back to the family and ask them questions. Like, get that off your chest, because you think it's the men that you've been dating, but kind of your family done put some shit down that you may need to hold them accountable for. Ask them questions. You may not even get the answers, but you put it out there. You tried, to get a little bit more understanding, because I think our reflection changes. My reflection from 18 reflecting on my childhood is different from 28 to now.
Yeah.
I think it starts to warp and change a little bit. And this is why I like to point out all this shameful stuff, because I did a lot of shameful shit.
Didn't we all?
In my teenage years, there's teen on the end of that.
Yeah.
Once my consciousness was aware of these shameful behaviors and the dynamics that I was creating, I had to make a change, because I didn't want to continue that or take it further into jail or death. So we're not going to do that. You understand what I'm saying? But a lot of them are not there. They're not even being taught to have this type of moral compass or standard of protecting yourself. Longevity. Because we want instant gratification. We think nothing is going to happen. But shit happens. And I didn't want it to happen anymore. So being conscious of the decisions that I was making for my life was very important.
I'm going to tell you this too, Nikki. I was talking to more of a matriarch. We're not related, but she's always been there. I can always go to her.
Yes.
And she asked about you.
Oh.
And I said to her, I'm going to be on Nick's podcast tomorrow. She told me, she said, tell her I said, hey, I ain't never met her, but tell her I said, hey. You talk about her all the time. And, and she had me dying laughing. And she said, I'm going to have to meet her. I said, well, then you're going to have to come. They live in Maryland. I said, well, we'll come up there. I'll come up there. I'll definitely bring her so you can meet her.
And we can take a drive.
Yeah, she always asked me. She always asked me, how's your friend in Maryland doing? She doing good. So,
man, you need to connect us. I'll go visit. I love the elders.
Yeah, me too. They're my best people.
My preference of professional work is usually working with the elderly or people with developmental disabilities and TBIs. So, nurturing by nature is just what I do. I take a lot of pride in that work. When I did it, got some motherfuckers fired for just mishandling some of my consumers. We're not going to do that on my watch. So this is not new. I'm a protector by nature.
Yeah.
Nurturing feminine protector, let's just say.
See, I'm not
this abuse of these boys, because my man Dontre, he had a part 2 to that first video talking about his early experiences of sex, introduction to it. Let's go. Let's listen to what he got to say.
When you get introduced to sex at a young age, you can have the sex without the attachment. Sex is not an attachment anymore. This is why so many males are soulless with their sex, is because they're being introduced to it. They're being used as an object. Ooh, that's good. Ooh, that's good. They're being used as an object, so now they're using everyone else as objects. Well, you think I got 4 baby mamas for? You think I got 4 baby mamas because with women that you think I just got 4 baby mamas because I just wanted kids? I have 4 baby mamas because I was having sex with no emotion. You understand what I'm saying? The first 2 I can say I love these women, okay, but the last 2 I can really say I was having sex with no emotion.
I love the honesty. He speaks his truth. I ain't mad at him for that. But I
Mhm.
get where he's coming from. There are many men out here, and I'm gonna say this, so if any of you military guys are listening, sorry. Um, there are places that we dwell or that we work or where we're at that promotes some of this. If you want to be seen as a good lady or a good woman, you need to present yourself as that. But there are too many of them that do not. I can go to my front door in the morning because the bus stop is at the corner and I see what they got on, and I be thinking to myself, why has nobody's mama said nothing?
Wait, they don't have uniforms down there in VA?
Oh, girl, no. No, the kids is still wearing their, unacceptable clothing.
Oh. I mean, because even the uniforms are really too short and,
Yeah. Well, they just don't wear them down here. I mean, some schools they do in Virginia, but not where I live. Then I'm going to speak on somebody else, but there's a person that lives in my neighborhood, and she's a bit more than what she needs to be because she is only, I'm going to say, between 11 and 12.
Okay.
And you have high school boys at your door, and the parents say nothing. Now, there is also an older sister and older brother there. I talk to the oldest daughter all the time because she's now in college.
Mhm.
Never saw her do a thing. And I've been living out here for 20 years.
Right.
Never seen the child. Always when she come home, she got her head down. She on her way in the house. But that youngest one, I think when you, sometimes for some people, not for everybody, but when you have a gap with your children, 19, 18, and 12, you're tired after the 19 and the 18-year-old.
Mhm.
So now you're like, okay, because they're going to argue with you and why can't I, why? And then you get tired of it. But I have seen things that I feel are not acceptable. Thank you. Are not acceptable. My husband bought me a drink.
Oh, thank you, Vernon.
Yeah, that are unacceptable in my eyesight. And the sad part about this is me and the neighbors just had a conversation about this 3 days ago. 3 days ago. I see these young boys come by, they walking up the street. I'm looking at them because I don't know you. Go right to the house, ring the doorbell. Parents sitting right in the house. You don't know nothing. You ain't got up and went to go say, who are you and how old are you? Why
We
are you
know.
at my house? Who you come to see? I guess I'm, like I said, I'm old school mama, because you roll up on my door, I'm gonna ask you and who you come to see. But like I said, we had a little neighborhood meeting and we discussed all of this. And then my neighbor said, yeah, they was sitting on the curb smoking weed. I was like, wait a minute, hold up. Hold on. Wait a minute. What? She was like, yeah. I was like, they can't be no more than 12, 13 years old. Can't be. And then she was like, yeah, that was just, I was like, why you ain't sprayed them with your hose? Because I'd have sprayed you. I'd have told you, get off my property. But
it's not community no more.
We try to keep, we got pretty much close knit type of atmosphere in our neighborhood. Everybody pretty much watches out for everybody else. We try. But I just, when I see it, I feel that mama gene kick in.
Right.
And I want to say something, but then I realize, okay, that's not my child. Let me be quiet. That's not my kid. You can't do like you used to do 20, 30 years ago.
Right.
Parents don't accept that. They get, a little irate if you say something to them. So I don't say nothing. I just walk in the house, shake my head, and walk on in the house.
Can't say nothing to my child. Well, you're not doing a good enough job. They shouldn't be repeating the same cycle. If you went to school in middle school and high school and you were cutting school and smoking weed and fucking, you should probably change that dynamic with your children, right? I don't think that's okay. And I think my husband always says that women don't want to shame other women because they did that. How can I shame you when I did it? But I'm trying to teach you to do better, to have a better beginning, to make your foundation a little bit more solid and solidified, that you're going to have a better walk than me. I don't want you to, go through the things that I've been through. I don't want you to experience those things. It made me a better person, but it might not have that effect on you.
Exactly.
It might not. And I'm not willing to roll the dice to play games like that. And I expose all of this because, our men don't have a voice. They're not allowed to express, how these things affected them, because not all see it in such a bad way. Some men are kind of proud of it, or whatever the case may be, or they put on this exterior that, they were sexually active very young.
Yeah.
But it may have been taught because they get around other men in their circles, or boys in their circles, and they say that this happens, and it's like, oh, they want 5. So it's really on how, your message is being received to the people you're telling.
Exactly.
And like you said, a lot of children are being threatened. Some don't even realize that it's wrong, especially if their body responds in a positive manner. It's not always a violent assault when it comes to children. So they don't know. If a little boy's penis responds, they don't know that something's wrong unless it's something that has been taught. You know what I mean? As far as the consent. So for young people who are having children, I would just suggest, in prepping your baby for changing diapers, make that statement. May I open your diaper? May I change your diaper? Yes or no. And it's simple signs. Yes, no. They respond to these things, so it's kind of already leading up into when they get a little older and they want to understand, why I ask permission all the time. This is why.
Exactly.
You understand? So, it creates that boundary very early, because they don't know.
See, with our oldest granddaughter, Verna would never change her diaper unless I was sitting there.
Right.
And for that, I do appreciate it. But my thing is, you shouldn't have everybody and their mama around your children, especially your young children.
Mm-hmm.
It's important that your kids and grandkids, whomever you got, understand what boundaries are. I've never been that grandmother who's like, I am now, bakes cookies and says lovely things and how pretty he looks. I was always that straightforward grandmother. I mean, even with your daughter, Nikki, you know that. Look, didn't I tell y'all go to bed? Go to bed.
Listen.
Go on.
Come on now.
But they don't do it anymore. I don't understand, and I think a lot of it is, especially with some younger generations, feel like, well, you whipped me, I'm not gonna whip my kids. You cussed at me, I'm not gonna cuss at my kids. I mean, to each his own. You do as you feel, but you need to understand that your children have to have boundaries. It's not always yes for them. Sometimes it needs to be no. And when they ask you why, you need to tell them, because I said so, and I'm the adult, and this is how it's going to be. As children get older, you explain to them. But when you 3 years old and you throwing a fit in a store because I won't let you have a pair of shoes, we gonna have a problem when we get back home.
Right.
Do not think
we're gonna have a problem in the store. You know how I do. We're gonna have a problem in the store. You don't have to whoop them. But there's a certain going to get down to your level and explain to you you're not going to have that. And we're not going to continue on with our shopping. Like, I'll leave the store. I have done these things because you're not going to control me with your emotional breakdown because you're crying and screaming because you can't get what you want. I didn't play that with my kids. You want to do that? I actually fell out in the store. You want to have a fallout in the cart? Watch this. Boop, on the floor. Hey, I got the people looking at me. She shut the fuck up.
Yeah, exactly.
Together now. We're going to continue because I can do all of that. If I can go in the bank and do that and get what I want, I would do it. But I have to teach you that having a fit and being in an emotional uproar is not going to get you what you want. You're not going to be heard more clearly because you're in an emotional rage, and children really try to control us with that. So you have to try to stay calm or not. I do not mind crying with you.
There you go. Wow.
I do all of that, Trey. They be looking at me like I'm crazy. They shut up and be like, wait, what the hell is wrong with her?
Well, Marcus took Ayana to the shoe store because that's his baby, and she asked could she have these particular shoes, and Marcus told her no, we're not buying those today. She took them shoes and threw them in the out of the store. I said, what'd you do? He said, I just went out there and got them. I said, no. He was like, I can't spank her. Oh, you can't? Okay, no problem. So when she got home, I asked her. I said, where'd you go? To the store. I said, with who? Unky Mo. I said, okay, what'd you get? Nothing, because he went and buy them for me. I said, did you throw some shoes out into the mall? This is what I got.
I said, yeah, good for that.
Yes. I said, go to your room. Go to your room. I'll deal with you in a minute. And of course, my son is like, boss lady, you go home. Mind your business. I'm a rodeo ride this one myself. Thank you. I appreciate you. And it's gotten to that point where sometimes I watch these kids and I be thinking to myself, Lord, if I could just spank one of them and not go to jail. Whoo. But I mind mine. I put my hands on them.
They don't understand. You don't have to spank them. But
No,
again,
you don't.
to be present, you have to be intentional with your parenting. You have to set rules. You have to set boundaries. And if they're crossed, there needs to be some type of consequences.
Yeah, I've had to do that.
Things
I had
they
to
need
do that
to earn. They cannot just walk around thinking that they are entitled to just things, to have something. Every time you go into the store, every time you walk past McDonald's, they got to have the freshest sneakers and all. Like, yeah, we're doing too much. We're kind of creating monsters.
Exactly.
If they don't humble themselves to, respecting what they got instead of, with these expectations that they deserve. You deserve to breathe the oxygen that's coming in your damn lungs.
That's it.
You better be grateful you got clean water. Like, these people.
You better be glad I fed you. Be thankful for everything I do for you. Ayana, when she her second, third year, second year, one of them years, Ayana politely came in the house and said, I'm joining the Army Reserve. I said, I'm sorry, what? She said, I'm joining the Army Reserve. And I said, you too small. They're not gonna take you. Oh, they'll take me. Right?
No, you didn't tell her that.
Yeah, I did, because I wanted to go. I'm that grandma, my first grandbaby. So I said, what are you going for? Now I'm pissed off. Why are you going? Because I don't want to have to pay this debt. Do you want to pay my student loans off? I said, girl, go ahead on. When we need to take you to the airport. I worried for 8 straight weeks. I was worried to death for 8 straight weeks. But I had to suck it up.
Yeah, that one, when I met this one was in karate, black belt. She probably got the highest belt, probably about 4'10". Wait, what'd you say? I hear you verted in the background.
Yeah, he gone out the door. Girl,
we ain't worried about her as far as, her being able to protect herself, just because she's small. That small size means absolutely nothing.
No.
Because she's a firecracker like you. When it comes to the mouth, she will logic you out. You're going to walk away, okay? You're definitely going to walk away, so shout out to her. I'm so happy she, is doing what she's doing and, grew up to be a good citizen in the society.
I ain't gonna say all that, but she look, I ain't gonna say all that. Look, I get pictures. I see the pictures.
Yeah. But I just, I look at them not repeating a lot of the cycles that we did, being out on the street kids, hustling and, getting into things that just, could really put you in a position of death or going to jail. So, I'm proud of that. Educated, they're looking to find their purpose and move in that. They need a little bit more guidance because, again, social media, has a hold and a grip on all of us to some degree.
They do.
Even the children that has been in homes where we modeled a lot of logic and teaching and, understand what I'm saying? So, they're going to be who they're going to be. But,
that's something I know, Nikki, with our girls, it was just completely different. Okay. Yes. You going to spend the night? All right. No problem. I can let you spend a night in this house. I can let you spend night, other ones spend night in the house. And it was always that way. And I think that a lot of people now have forgotten that old school learning. You know, your
Mhm.
parents, when they tell you something, half time you don't want to hear it, but you have to think to yourself eventually, oh, wait a minute. And you got to go back to it and be like, that's exactly what she said for me not to do. I ain't doing it.
Mhm.
Or I'm
Right.
not going to do it again. Because usually I'm not going to do it again. But they just, you know, I don't understand. Like I said, I see him at the bus stop and I think to myself, your mama let you come out like that. Then I realize I'm a grandmother now. I'm like, yeah.
Right.
Then I have another one that walks up the street and they're into this cosplay. I have a grandson that's into it too.
Mhm.
And if she bent over, I'd see everything she owned.
Mhm.
Got the little stacked heels, all that, just walking to school. And I think to myself, how are they getting in school? I know the schools. Have they forgotten? I'm
Right.
just
Y'all had a
mesmerized.
standard because when I was down there, I was fighting against the uniforms, you know. So for now, everybody to get a pass to wear these little pom pom skirts and these shoes and like some of that stuff is inappropriate. They go like they go into the club. It's a little bit ridiculous. Wait a minute, no, your hair cannot be past your fucking knees in the back. When they told me my child's beads was too long, because Nana's hair was down her back. You understand? And I got a notice in the mail telling me, I can't put the beads in, because if she turned around, she might smack somebody. It wasn't about the braids or anything like that. It was about, on the line, if you just turn your head, you're going to hit somebody with it versus a white girl's hair. It's still going to be irritating, but it's not the same, so they had some standards and now there's not. It's like everybody wants to be an individual. No, y'all want to create a non-gender society.
Yeah.
This is where we're going with it. And it starts in the school.
It does.
And this has been happening. It's been happening. Yeah. Good 25 years. Yeah, it's been going down. We've been watching, paying a lot of attention. It's a lot of fighting going on in a lot of different communities. So again, as parents, women, mothers, child, when you fertilize that egg, learn something.
Yeah, you don't know what you're going to get, but you better be prepared to deal with it.
For real. I mean, get with the elders who you think have been successful in their modeling of, how they raise their children, because you should get the pointers from them.
And now I realize I am one of the elders.
Absolutely. Well, come on now. You helped me in my marriage. I mean, not that we were failing or going
through. No, y'all were doing good.
A very, pivotal time adding on, that third child. It was unique. So us meeting each other was absolutely all in the universe because we met, just clicked right away. So to see you, pretty much we are very similar in our characteristics and our nurturing, as far as human beings. So to see the way you, grew with your husband and y'all are, 10, almost 15 years our seniors, I knew I could learn something from you. This is what I want. I don't want to be in a future marriage where our relationship is null and void. My husband and I are not really friends. He doesn't like me. I don't like him. And, he's trying to go find him some peace somewhere else. And I'm looking to cheat or just any of that. I didn't want that type of dynamic. So I needed to find and surround myself with people who were similar to me. And I always loved how much you loved Vernon.
Yeah,
and how much
you have to grow. And I think for me, with my own life, I had been that military kid for so long that I could not see myself viably dating someone that was not in the military.
Right.
That's the life I knew. That's the life I grew up in. And I needed that part of who I was going to be with.
Right.
And for Vernon, I mean, I started talking to him when I was 15, 16 years old. My grandmother felt the need that I needed piano lessons and singing lessons. And I would leave practice. I would leave track practice and run over there to North State. And I saw him one day and he had on mismatched shoes. He had a bandana tied around his knee and one pants leg was rolled up. And I was like, yes, that's the brother I gotta have, And it took years because I was really too young for him at that time. And it took years, but I have always been that woman who I don't want a man to pick me. I'd rather pick you.
Oh, wait. Purposeful.
And it was really,
I mean, like you said,
And it
love
was really
it. I don't think like
strange because, Nikki, I dated another Vernon.
Mm-hmm. And you was
And,
married, right?
huh?
You were married before Vernon.
Yeah, I married him. And me and him, we still cool.
Right,
So
right.
that's a plus because we got the
Mhm.
grandkids.
So
So
this
we
is
still
later
cool.
love, mature love. Said, okay, my brain is fully developed now. Here,
Yeah, I
let's
can handle this.
do
But
it.
I dated a guy by the same name of Vernon, came out of DC, the whole nine. And, I came back down. I came to this end of Virginia to go to school, and he was sick. And his mother called me. She said to me, I don't know how much longer he got. Girl left school, stayed in the hospital for 3 straight weeks.
Mm.
Didn't go nowhere. His mother bought me food, everything. And before he passed, he said, you know what? He said, I'm going to send you somebody just like me. And I thought to myself, he's going through, maybe it's the medication.
No, it's real. I
And
I'm
he did.
believers of that. Yeah.
And he did. Both Vernon's from DC, both Vernon's musician. I'm like, okay, this was in the cards for me.
Mm-hmm.
But
like you said, you knew it. You knew it.
Yeah.
Off top.
I mean,
It was a good
I took one look at Vernon and I said, he don't know it yet, but this the brother I'm gonna be with. He don't know, but I'm gonna have to tell him.
Mm.
And he came over, and from there I fed him. Back then I was doing basic cooking.
Yeah.
And he let me know you have to learn how to cook.
Okay.
So I was like, you worth me learning that. I'm willing to jump in that. And now 30 some years. Let me see. Chris is 30. How old is Chris? God, my kids are so old. Chris is 37.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been with Vernon for 38 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it don't seem like that to me. It
No.
just, no. Would I trade him? Hell no.
No. Now, see, I've always said that it's it's good for us to pick. It's very good, wise for a woman to pick for the simple fact that your attraction is off top. So now this is a good man. What do you have to do to get him? You're gonna have to do some things. You're gonna have to find out what his list looks like, and if you're gonna be
girls
willing
learn how to cook. Learn how to cook, women. Learn how to cook.
how to cook any damn way. Humans, we should just know how to cook. You should be able to know how to nurture you. And if you don't know, try to learn. It's important, especially if you plan on feeding a family. You cannot feed them off of outside food.
No.
We're talking about diabetes, cancer, and just horrible health risks. Take care of your family. It's important.
It is.
Both of us, like you said, you grew up around a lot of men. You had grandpas and brothers and uncles and stuff like that. And so have I. So I think it's just something that we learned by reflecting, and just experiencing them in our childhood. Their tones changing. The way they dealt with each other, the way they dealt with women. Knowing that dynamic, it was kind of easy for us to acquiesce. Like you said, you knew what you wanted from him. But you had to do some things in order for him to say, yeah, she's a keeper.
There it is.
You understand? So you can't just want something and think you deserve it. She had to do some shit to lock him in. You understand what I'm saying? This is 37
I was a tomboy and I had to learn how to become a lady.
Okay.
And in our life, Nikki, that's a hard balance.
It is.
Because we still got to keep that hard side of us.
Yes.
But we got to keep that tender side of us.
Yes.
So for me and Vernon, we always talked, and the major thing that we did in bed was, besides the normal, was we played cards, we played backgammon, and while we did that, we talked. I mean, there have been many times Vernon be like, no, that's not what I want. Okay, well, let's talk about it. Yeah. Well, I'll say to him, no, I'm not going up to DC with you. You need to handle that on your own.
Mm-hmm.
When my family was ill, he stepped right in and helped me no matter what. And I don't think we see men like him and Sean. We want to go get that brother that's got that pocket full of money, that's driving the car with the nice rims. That's not going to support us. And that's what women need to understand. Baby, it looks good on the outside, but it's not going to support us on the inside. The inside is us. And if you can't reach in to get that, it becomes a problem. And I tell people all the time, that is exactly why I love Vernon. Because number one, he listens. Number two, he understands where I'm coming from. An argument may ensue, but we don't go to bed mad at one another because somebody may not wake up in the morning.
Absolutely.
And we try to balance it. It might be one thing he want to do and one thing I want to do, and we just got to meet in the middle. And too many people don't do that. These young ladies, and I'm gonna say young up to about 35, maybe 40. They want what they want. They want to control it. They want to run him. And then you wonder why he out with Susie Q and he ain't at home with you. This is why. Understand how it works.
Right.
So
because women want everything on their list checked, but when a man has a list, how dare you? The audacity of you to have a list of things that you want from me. This is how some women's minds think. And it's amazing to me, the selfishness. So, I mean, gentlemen, if you come across women like that are not willing to acquiesce, you need to run. You need to run. And it's not about controlling anybody, but a woman needs to understand that there's certain things that you can learn from a man, and a man that you choose to be your husband. It's going to always be constant growth and learning and development, because that's just life. And if you realistically can't live in that, then something's wrong with you psychologically. Because we're learning this in the 3rd grade, the life cycle. It is a cycle. It's a particular process that happens over time. Mm-hmm. But we just live such in the moment. We have no purpose for this cycle. And we just going with the flow, and we're fucking indecisive as hell about how it's going to be and blah, blah, blah. And I can just control all the dynamics of it when you can't.
No. And personally, I don't want to.
Oh my goodness. It's too much. It's too much. The times I felt, I was okay to relinquish all my control. Oh my God. So much peace. Because I too went through it in the earlier years, controlling the dynamics with the children, and not to, an aggressive and hard, but I wanted to dictate what happened, because I was in fear of repeating the same cycles from my childhood.
Exactly.
Even with making him aware. So once he was aware, he understood the assignment, and it was never a tug of war, because we both wanted to continue to break these cycles. We don't want our children to come up in the same types of environments we came up in. They made us who we are. We were very reflective of what was happening. And it's no guarantee that they're going to be able to push through that. These kids, they're not as resilient as we were. They're 60s, 70s, 80s, baby. We're a little different, built a little different.
And you have to get sometimes your children or grandchildren, because I'm that grandmama stage, that they have to sit down and understand some of the things that you're trying to tell them. It's not that we want to make you do that. We don't want you to live our lives, but we have been here longer and we know the ins and outs and the traps that can happen. So I'm not going to always be there for you for some of the traps, but I'm going to teach you what the traps are. Now, if you don't see them for yourself, that's on you. Mm-hmm. But if you understand and listen, then you won't have to have it as hard as my generation, the generation behind me, the generation behind that person. You have got to understand that life moves on, and ain't no man or woman gonna sit and wait for you to figure that out. Mm-hmm. Guys ain't as patient nowadays as men that we have. They not. No. And so you thinking because you go and lay and play with him is going to make you his number one. Don't believe that, because he just looking for the time. He ain't looking for you. He looking for somebody who's going to be there beside him, who gonna fight beside him, who gonna be with him. He ain't looking for nothing short time. He just enjoying your fun and moving on. And that's basically what the guys say.
I mean, they're going to stay along as long as you give the access. Oh man. But I got a young lady who has sometimes, we don't understand until we're directly affected by it or in it. You understand? I got a young woman's reflection I saw. She works in a field of dominating men. The field is dominated by men, and she's a woman. So she's learned some things over the time that she has spent with all these men. And let's listen to what she got to say. Wait a minute, she ain't saying anything, so I'm going to read it to you.
Wow.
Let's do this. Yeah, it was a lot. Let me pull it up another way so I can share it. Video file. I think I put it in the other. Yeah, it's in the other computer. Yeah. But yeah, she learned a lot. I'm gonna pull it up right here and read it to y'all because I can do that. Technology. Yes, most of the time we don't know no better because we're not surrounded by, have no clue. And again, not willing to learn or understand. And this is why it's always a lot of conflict in relationships because a lot of people are not willing to. Women, because I think men have always been acquiescent to learning us. It's so much of us that they need to learn. And they're kind of taught, like you said, you had to teach boys, and most of the men are taught how to have chivalry and, a certain level of respect for women, but not all you women deserve that level of respect. I'm just going to fucking be honest. You act a certain way, you're going to get a certain type of energy from a man. So, it is what it is. It has a lot to do with how you behave. It's been a privileged world, right? Where we can do and say and pop off in a man's face and he don't knock us the fuck out. Because that's the kind of era we grew up in, huh, Tracy?
Hey, they
And
love you.
it's okay. It's okay for us to have a voice and, express our opinions and such. But now it's to the point where we're popping off and jumping in men's face and, you're going to hear me and being forceful and aggressive. And, our size is so big, we're willing to fight them and punch them. And, okay, it's going to come a time where that shit is going to change. They're not taking that no more. I'm telling you.
That's changing now, Nikki.
It's changing now. So y'all really need to check your behavior when you're outside and when you're inside with your man. Because some toxicity can create a psychological breakdown in the man, and now he's taking away the whole family.
Yep, because then he got to go. He
on.
don't need to be with you no more. I got to go. I got to find somebody who's going to nurture and love me. I'm not going to keep taking this crap. Love my kids, but I'm out. And then they wonder why they leave.
And then I don't want to leave my kids with your ass, so I'm taking everybody. Like this is,
and I'll make you pay.
And no woman wants to be held accountable for any of that. It's just him. He was a bad man. He couldn't handle life, this and that, blah, blah, blah. You didn't have nothing to contribute to that. We want to take away all of your accountability in that whole dynamic of this union of family and children. Come on. Y'all need to stop it. Start to hold yourselves accountable. Because men matter. Their voices matter. Their trauma matters. The shit that y'all do to them fucking matters. You want me to care about you being abused? Then care about them being abused too, because it happens. And I've seen it directly. So there's dynamics, yes, that we see, women being abused. I've seen men be abused directly. Cantankerous ass women jumping all on their fucking face and carrying on, disrespectful, and they held themselves, trying to leave, get away. And y'all still continue to shit. They're going to stop taking it. Let me tell you that. Because the day I jump up in my husband's face like that, he got the right to knock my ass out.
You be laying there and wake up the next day.
That's what I learned. And women are being taught that you can do whatever you want to a man and they can't do anything. And that's unacceptable. It's not okay to be running around here abusing them. It's not. And I'm going to say it. It's not okay for men to be abusing women. Yeah, it's the same way around. And we're not going to act like it doesn't exist because the statistics are very, very close in freaking numbers. So you bitches is out here putting your hands on niggas and carrying on too, cutting them, hurting them, stealing their semen. Well, let me go. It's Sunday, shame Sunday. We're going to get it and shut it down in a second. But I want to see what my lady said because she's been working in the man's dominated field and she learned a lot. She learned a lot about them, and I can't pull it up over there, so I'm going to read it to you. There she go. All right, she said, things I've learned about men since working in a male-dominated trade. They don't have it as easy as I thought they did. Being sick doesn't mean anything. You work anyway. Men have feelings too, but they're taught to not show them. She also said, I respect my dad 10 times more now for my childhood. She said they love having their lunch packed. They love having their lunch packed. This is something they go to work and brag about. That means the people at home care about me. They care about what I'm going to eat today because I have to work so hard. She said, going to work every day and providing, then going home to a house with no peace wears a person down. It will wear you down to come home every day to an ungrateful bitch and ungrateful fucking children. And if you're home with them, it's your responsibility to honor their father and the work that he does. It is so appreciated. When a man chooses his wife and his family, they're going to work and do what they need to do. Now, if you picked you a sorry ass man, I mean, you have to contribute that to you a little bit. When you snag up a good one, it's your responsibility to be intentional and keep that family afloat. Continue to nurture that man when he's at his lowest. This is what it's supposed to be about. The duty and honor and responsibility of that, not to pick on him and beat him down when he's down. That's not what it's supposed to be. And if you're going to be that type of woman, don't agree to marry these men. Don't waste their damn time and pretend and then turn out to be something else later. Because a lot of you chicks is out here doing that shit too. Pretend femininity, pretend kindness, pretend that you really want to be a damn mother. And then when it's too much, oh my God, I need help. Suck that shit up. I'll be expecting them to come home and do everything. Please stop it. Women and men are not the same. And men are important and strong. They're needed and necessary. These are the things that this woman learned by working in a male-dominant field. Me and Madison went on a field trip, showing her all the buildings, in Baltimore City, some skyscrapers up where they're, adding on to buildings and such. And I'm asking her, like, is this a job that you would want to do? She looked at me like I was crazy. You ask how many women would they go up and build them, be on these skyscrapers and do that stuff? I would throw up, get into the third story with that air smacking me in my face in the freezing cold, hungry. Y'all can't do what they do. Stop acting like you can. We different. Respect it. I'm not going in no sewer. I'm not going in no coal mine. How many of y'all want to do that? Equality. Bullshit. I call cap because y'all not out there doing it. I don't see y'all out there doing it. I even see the men doing the streets, Tracy. They doing the jackhammers and all of that. Yeah, the ladies is out there, but they're moving around the cones. They sitting in the car. They flagging the stop sign. So it's really not equality. Y'all getting them big bucks where you taking the place of a man that could be working there. Go sit your ass down somewhere.
I had a cousin out of West Virginia. She worked in the coal mines. Worked in the coal mines.
What?
Now me,
West Virginia?
No, West Virginia. She worked in the coal mines. Yes.
It's a small, very small percentage, though. Very small percentage.
Now, Alexis, she works over here in Chesapeake. Excuse me. And she runs stuff. And all the guys have to come and talk to her. And sometimes when I'm on the phone, I hear her talking, and I be in the bedroom like this, thinking to myself, yes, girl, yes. But never disrespectful. And the guys respect her for what she does. And for that, I am I'm proud of her. I don't think she realizes how proud I am. She probably think, I don't give a darn. But I really am proud of her because you didn't have to you ain't have to do all that. But you got out here and you said, you know what? I ain't gonna need nobody else. I'm gonna do for me. And that's something I'm always proud of, especially with us as women. My daughter, she'll say something to me and I'll be like, I'm old school, okay? I'm old school.
That may answer. He's saying that, right? Yeah, I'm not like y'all.
No, I'm not. She'll come over sometimes and she'll be like, what you making? I'm baking a cake. For what? Because I can. Just because I ain't got nothing else to do. That's right. My free time. And I realized the dynamics have really changed because Alexis is on her, sorry to bring up your name, baby girl, but yes, your name. She is on her grind. And I give her so many kudos for that. Because she don't have to be. But she gets out there every day, goes to work every single day. I get a phone call every morning or in the afternoon. They're getting on my nerves. I done had enough.
Got to do
that
it.
kind of stuff. But I'm proud.
Did you see the difference? Did you see the difference? If Marcus go to work and Chris go to work, they're not calling you to say, I had enough. These people, oh my God. Any of that. She's calling. And it's good. I'm glad she's doing a thing, but it's just a difference in how we move. You get to work, you
Oh,
frustrated.
no. Marcus will call me and he'll be like, I done had enough of this shit. I ain't going to work tomorrow. I mean, that's it. What are you doing? Oh, sorry, Nikki. We're learning how to make ice cream.
Oh, men cook too, ladies. Uncle Vernon is a wonderful cook as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's pretty good. I don't like the tartness of the strawberries, but that's good though. Okay. All right, man.
Oh, see that? Constructive criticism. Yeah, it is what it is. We're gonna get this closed up soon. I got a couple of videos. I came across Natalie Clarice. She's a TikToker. She's an older woman. And she be spending some
go
jewels.
mama. Go mama.
She be spending some jewels to the ladies. So I'm gonna run it down for y'all. I'm gonna just let her go in a little hard. She's saying a lot of things that I want to say. So I'm just gonna let her say it. Because I might curse through it. I'm sorry. I apologize. That's the hood in me. You can take me out the hood, but you can't take the hood out the girl. I'm sorry. I try my best to stay in this wonderful femininity energy. But here we go. Let's listen to Clarice because she's spitting some jewels.
Men don't like that. Women with face, hand, neck tattoos. Quality men don't like that. Women walking around here with these inflated butts following behind them like wagons. There are men that like that, but it's definitely not a quality man because quality men don't like that. Women who are in and out the strip club, making it rain, acting like real live dudes. You're not a man. How unattractive. Quality men don't like that. Women who are in and out of relationships. In November, you with Ray Ray. In December, you with Tay Tay. Not only do you look trashy, you look nasty. Quality men don't like that. A quality man may play with that, but a quality man will never commit to that because quality men don't like women like that. However, you do you. But a quality man wants a quality lady who carries herself like a real lady. Quality men don't find shot out, thugged out women interesting, attractive, or appealing. That's why most are single, ringless, in and out of relationships because quality men won't settle down with women like that. And yes, it is a man's job for him to respect a woman, but it's a woman's job to give him something to respect. Be smart, date smart, choose wisely.
Shout out to Miss Clarice.
Mad at her. I'm not mad at her at all because every once in a while my mouth is like that.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, it absolutely has been like that. When I saw it, I was like, "Look at Tracy." And me, I think we both been like that. Like men don't like that. Y'all want men don't like that. That's the best part. Men don't like that. Y'all think y'all know? Find out what your man likes. Find out. Are you listening? Because they try to tell you, and it's different. Most of them like the general of what she said, but your particular man, if you love him and this is where it's gonna be, you better find out what he like. Because he has to find out what you like, right? He has to do all the acquiescing to you and make sure he don't skip a goddamn beat. You should think the same. Let's do this.
Single ladies over 30, stop asking men silly questions when you meet them. What's your zodiac sign? What's your favorite meal? What do you like to shop? You're learning absolutely nothing asking that man those types of questions. Ask him questions that matters like, what do you do for a living? What are your future plans? What do you see yourself in 5 years? How's your relationship with your parents? So tell me, what are you looking for in a relationship? Do you plan to get married and start a family one day? Ask important questions. You need to find out in the beginning if this dude is worth entertaining, worth your time, worth your energy. Learn to get honest with men when they come into your life about who you are, what you want, how you expect to be treated. Weed them out in the beginning. Standards only scare off weak men with wrong motives, and that's exactly what you want. Time is money. Money is time. Ain't nobody got time to be playing with a grown man who ain't got no future plans. Let him go do that with someone else. Your time is valuable. Make sure you respect that. Let's go, Nat Nation. Be smart, date smart, choose wisely. And remember, I told you.
I think we need to hang out with her.
Okay. Stop asking silly ass.
We need to be hanging out with.
But I mean, she had a key point. Know who you are. Know who the hell you are. Because when you know who you are, you're going to ask them serious questions. You are going to get to the nitty gritty of the shit because you want to know where you stand. Are you on a purpose? Are you moving the way that I would like to move? I might want to get on your mission.
Wow.
Shut the hell up sometimes. Stop asking them dumbass questions.
Never make a man tell you that he don't want you. He's already showing you over and over and over again when he don't come home at night, when he constantly lies to you, when he don't call you to check on you to see how your day is going, when he disrespects you and call you out your name, when he ghosts you on the most important days of the year, when he disappears for days at a time. Never make a man tell you that he don't want you. He's already showing you over and over and over again. Stop turning your head and just pay attention. However, you do deserve happiness, even if you're not used to it. And for those of you who will say, she's bitter, she needs to change her tone, unfortunately, that would never change. Only thing I can suggest to you is to keep strolling. Let's go, Nat Nation. Be smart, date smart, choose wisely. And remember, I told you.
Yeah, a woman.
Some knowledge.
Yeah. I mean, you can imagine what her comments look like because women don't like what she's saying. They're so offended by what she's saying. That's why she made that post.
But ain't no need you being offended. If you offended, then you part of the problem.
You don't like my tone.
Yeah, you part of the problem. If you're offended by that, then there's a problem with you within yourself.
It don't matter
it's not
how
a problem with her. She's speaking her truth. And
Right.
most intelligent women, I don't care what you are, where you come from, sometimes you need to listen because sometimes you're making those mistakes. And then you'll keep making them and keep making them because you don't listen with.
Yeah, she said, you worried about my tone. Keep scrolling. You'll find something else. I found this one too. Look.
You're right. Marriage is not for everyone. I totally agree. Everyone is not fit to be a husband, just like everyone is not fit to be a wife. That's why it's important that everyone date their equal and stop taking on projects. When you date your equal, you're in alignment. Your mindsets are alike. Your values are alike. Your future goals are alike. When you take on projects, you're trying to convince someone to think like you, be like you, want the same things as you. Save yourself the drama and be smart. Date on your level, date your equal. Stop taking on draining projects. The woman in the mirror will graciously thank you. Be smart, date smart, choose wisely. And remember, I told you.
I think she need to do some seminars. I think some people need to go. Male and female need to be
I'm
going.
gonna have to invite her on and see if she'll bless us with her presence. I'll send her a clip of this and, let her know we appreciate her and her tone and her message.
Yes.
Because marriage ain't for everyone. So on Harris Tribe Media Group, she said, love and abundance. We are speaking to those who want that dynamic, who are looking for guidance, modeled behavior, successful marriages. We all go through our ups and downs, but it's the patience. It is the duty, honor, and responsibility in it all that everybody is not willing to do the work. So know who you are, know what you want, because that's the only way you're going to pick the right mate. Like you said, you knew Vernon was good for you because he was a military man, and that was what you was used to. You was used to that dynamic. You knew all about the life, what it entailed. You wasn't going to complain because he had to be gone for 6 months to fight for our country and love him when he came back and didn't hold it over his head. Y'all went through ups and downs and such, but that understanding of, y'all meshed.
Exactly.
He was your equal in a sense. Of course, growing and learning together and all of that. But, you got to know who you are in order to pick the right mate. We can't keep running around blaming all the men. You are the common denominator. If you've dealt with 5 niggas and it didn't work out with 5 niggas, you might have to consider that you might be that common denominator. We don't consider that. And to me, it's shameful.
That's part of the problem. We don't want to admit who we are or what we've done. But at some point, if you want a good, loving, constructed, just got it together marriage, y'all supposed to talk about everything from your stinky feet to your bad breath to your why in the hell do you keep dyeing your hair? And those things I definitely know, because Vernon would come home and I'd have different colors and he'd be like, who am I coming home to?
Right. What's good?
Then you have to realize if he loves you, he gonna love you for your bad breath in the morning. He gonna love you for your stinking things that you do in that bathroom. And he gonna kiss you with your bad breath. It is, it is what it is. And I don't get it. I don't know what people, young ladies or young men are looking for nowadays. But
perfection.
Hey, babies, let me be the first to tell you. let Mama Tracy tell you, no such ding dang dong thing. Okay, it's not going to happen. It's never going to happen, and you need to find people not like you, but who is willing to work with you, because we women are a hot mess. We turn from cold to hot, from yesterday to today. It is what it is, and you have to figure it out, because ain't no man can read your mind. Period. Done.
That's my motto. That's my motto. This is, I mean, you know, yeah, they want perfection. They want the instant gratification. And the day that you are not focusing on making me happy is the day that I can discard you. Ladies, it's not all about your damn happiness, bitch. You better learn to make yourself happy. I gotta be that raw, because I was that bitch.
Me too.
You're not making me happy. But not realizing I had a lot of stuff going on with me. My own family trauma, abandonment issues from my father, the disconnect with my brothers. You know, it was a lot going on. It was not his fault. You know, and thank God I was reflecting on it early, just to, you know, to make him aware that it's not your fault. I'm going to work this out, though. You know, and I appreciate any knowledge or guidance or tools, resources that you can give me to help me, which he's always done, always been my biggest supporter and cheerleader. So, you know, it's up to us to be transparent and stop making it their fault. Everything is not their fault. Let's live in reality, ladies, please, because the men deserve it. Because if it come a time where they really have to, like, this world shut down, society shuts down, you're going to really see the strength of these men. I mean, it's amazing. And I've seen it. So I'm very proud of them, you know, and it's a lot of good men out there.
Sure is.
You guys just may not be worthy enough to snag you one. I'm just saying.
There it is. I realized I came into our relationship, I was a spoiled woman. I was. There was not anything that my family would not do or give to me. And I remember literally going to, I think it was my aunt and uncle's house, crying. And I said, oh, Verna won't let me have this. Verna won't let me have that. And of course, my aunt got a checkbook. She said, what is it? My uncle said, go put that damn checkbook back, because maybe she don't deserve it.
Ooh, uncle.
Girl, I left. I went back onto the house. I was like, baby, what can we do to make this better? He just looked at me like, hey, I ain't take nothing from him. I didn't. He said, oh, I'm proud of you, because you can't keep running to your family every time you want something that I say we don't need. And I said, not understand. And I ain't been that way since then. Yeah, my uncle politely told my aunt had that checkbook. She about to sign it, and nigga, I was happy. I was happy. Like,
coddle. That is how it to coddle and make sure you go without nothing. You are my baby, like you said. You are spoiled, and yes, girl, she will pull them checkbooks out.
Yes, she will.
I don't need you to go without nothing. But look, the man that you respected said,
that's right.
You probably don't deserve it. No. Didn't ask no questions or none of that. Just listen. Bye-bye.
Nope. Y'all know home. Go on, tell them no.
And many of us don't have that.
No.
Many of us don't have that. You know, growing up close, you know, there's times in our marriages I was very close around my brother and his wife and, you know, their families and stuff like that. So just to have him I'm his sister. So he's going to be vulnerable with me. He's going to, you know, express to me some of the gripes that's going on in the house. And of course, we all go through it in marriages. Like, it's what happened. The kids are out of control. Everybody's working. Like, it's just too much to handle sometimes. So being that he was very vulnerable to come and speak with me, you know, at a time where my husband wasn't really that vulnerable. He still had to kind of walk on eggshells with me. And when meeting you, I felt like, okay, I got to stop it. You know, and I apologize for you having to walk like that, because he's such a good man and he's always had something great to contribute. And I was preventing that. So by my brother expressing these types of, you know, kind of gripes, it made me a little more empathetic.
Yeah. And we have to have that for ourselves.
And I really am grateful for those vulnerabilities, because they have feelings too. They want to be heard too. They want to be understood too, loved and nurtured and told they look good, and they want flowers, and, you know, they want those things as well. But if they know they're not going to get it, why bother asking you, bitch? Why even bother? You got a chip on your shoulder all the time. I can't do nothing right. When I am doing good, I'm not even getting praised for doing it good. So, you know, you women kind of create this dynamic with your mate, because if he was so good in the beginning and you said yes to that ring and y'all went through with that, that's a purpose. You need to be intentional with that. You can't just stop and expect him to just keep making the merry-round go fuck around.
Yep. And that's the
No,
part
your
that
ass
a lot of
jump
people don't
off
get.
whenever you feel like it. And this is what we do. We do it. I've done it. And I'm not just saying it to, brag. This is knowledge. This is reflection. This is me wanting you guys to do a little better with your communicating and, with your mate. It's important.
And I hope you ladies and men are listening to this because we all want something. My grandmother told me my great grandmother told me, if you want something, write it down. Put it under your pillow. Sleep on it for 7 days. Be faithful in what you want. Be honest in what you want. And my great grandmother said, if you want more sex, write it down. If you want him to wash his smelly feet, tell him to put some socks on. Right. Do what you got to do. And a lot of people aren't looking for that anymore. They expect a man to be the complete breadwinner, which there's nothing wrong with that. They expect him to come home, deal with the crazy kids while you've been at home all day. No, deal with your own crazy children. Do what you're supposed to do as a woman. When your man comes home, make him feel like he left his job and he's still a man. Now, what do you need, baby? What can I do for you today? That's part of the problem. So many women are just saying, so did you stop and get us something to eat? Girl, there's a stove in there. If you cut it on, it will work.
Right.
Ticks me off with it, Nick.
I've needed the structure from my husband. I appreciate it because I felt the honor in him choosing me when he had those days of work and I'm home with the kids. Like when he comes home, shit needs to be settled. The kids need to be in a certain space, ready to greet him, for the hard work that he's done, food. And I need to have them in some type of order to where homework is getting done. There's some chores and some duties, chilling out and playing some games and then bed, dinner and bed at a reasonable time. There is no jumping off the damn walls and acting a fool. You know what I mean? The weekends was times to be out and, whatever the case may be, but having some type of structure. I don't think a lot of us don't like it. Many women ain't equipped to that structure shit. Just do whatever, my heart skips a beat. I'm going to change the cycle of everything.
Yep. That's it.
You know what I mean? It's
and we
crazy.
have got to figure that part of life out. It can't always be our way every day. And I say this, ladies and gentlemen, because I was a spoiled broad. I ain't even gonna lie. I was a spoiled bitch. Let's be real.
Okay.
And I realized that that's not the type of man that's gonna deal with me on that level. So when I got with Vernon, it was a whole lot of no. Well, I want to say, well, we ain't got the money for it. Oop, I'll be right back. Jump in the car, drive to my people's house. I was pissed with my uncle when he said it, but after a couple of weeks, I was like, you know what, he's right. I'm making my husband feel less of a grown man. Now, what the heck is wrong with me? So I was like, when he say no, I'd be like, okay. And he used to ask me, afterwards, oh, you ain't leaving the house to go get it? Nope. You said no, so it's no. We good. We're moving on. Now, you want to play cards? That's it. You want to play game cards? It is what it is. And at this point, the fact that he works from home, it's another different dynamic to our lives.
Yeah.
I don't, at first I was like, damn, when is he going to leave? Can't you go to the store or something?
I mean, and that's hard to get used to, him being gone a lot. It's hard to have him home full time. It's like, okay, again, learning to rekindle the flame over and over again. It's spicy. It's something that you should be willing to do. Because it's spicy. Once it's rekindled, I'm telling you, you got spicy, and I can't even wait to the 50s when my peak go up. Listen, it's already up, so I can't even imagine what I'm hearing what's going on in the 50s with the ladies. So,
and the 60s too, baby.
Part of the practical joker to have us so mismatched when it comes to that, And I think our peaks are much higher because the reproduction stops. So the fear of constantly fertilizing this egg every month is kind of gone. I don't think people think of that. It's always been a fear for me. I don't care how much protection you use, how much pulling out you think you're doing, but every time my period be coming around, it's a day late too. I'm like, oh Lord. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm a married woman. So to have that worry not be a concern no more, it's freeing. Oh,
I used to tell, I told my cousins after I got it, my cousin, because actually me and one cousin, they always synced up. She was like, oh my God, I'm having cramps. I'm having this. I'd be like, I feel bad for you, cuzzo. And she'd be like, what? I was like, girl, I gave myself the gift that keeps giving. And she was like, what? I said, Bar, I went and got me a hysterectomy. Forget this. I'm done with all that. We ain't making no more children. We're finished. So it's just, like I said, it's strange. It was strange for a while because there were no kids in this house. And I'd be like, what am I supposed to do with myself? You know?
I remember.
And then I started Ubering and I was like, okay, everything going good. I'm cool with this. I enjoy it. And now that there's nobody in here, I'm like, there is freedom in this house. Yes. I can stroll down to the kitchen in a pair of panties and a t-shirt.
I can't wait.
You know, and it's enjoyable. That's the part I'm loving. Now, I always, every once in a while, I think to myself, Lord have mercy, if he go before me, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
What am I going to do? And then I realized.
I think that's a fear of women too, right? When you try to with someone and God forbid something happens and takes that.
See, I'm just coming to y'all's house. I'm just going to move there. Don't worry about it. I got you.
Come on now. Community.
No, I'm not going to stay here to be bothered to death. So it is that fear, and I know that he has it as well. Like if I get sick, he is like, I have woke up Nikki in the bed from the flu or whatever, and he's standing over top of me, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Making sure you do.
You all right? Yep, there. Yes,
it's real out here.
And I'm like, all right, man, all right, you still making sure I'm breathing. I appreciate that.
Yeah. What can I do for you? And that should be something that's, you know, considered on a daily basis in a marriage. What can I do for you today?
You know, I want to put a card up on people's doors, the people I know that need them. It says, this is for y'all. What can I do for you? And I ain't talking about me. I'm talking about y'all. You know, yourself.
Right.
But it just, I don't know. I don't, marriage isn't the way it was when our people grew up or our grandparents grew up. It was a different thing, and we live so differently now with our children because there is that technology. There is an easier life for them than it was for us, than it was for our parents, than it was for our grandparents.
Yes.
But part of this that I have a problem with is I need you to appreciate the life that you have.
Right.
And that's the one thing, honestly, that I can say about my grandkids. You know, they're very grateful. My daughter has changed her dynamics of life, and I think she's happier. And all I think a mother wants or parents want is for the kids to be happy. That's it. Just be happy. You ain't got to be wealthy. I just want you to be happy. I mean, if you're wealthy, then you know, hey, that's a plus. But I just want them to be happy within themselves. And I think sometimes it takes us a little longer to grow so we can understand that happiness we need. So for me, I'm just glad though that I'm living here right now. Right now. I ain't gonna say forever. I'm just saying for right now.
Okay.
So, you know, I think, Nick, that for you all have grown so much. And I'm privileged to see you guys do this. And it just makes me feel like that proud mama.
You should be.
Like that proud daddy, you know.
Right.
And,
y'all are
it's
honorary mother and father to us. Yes, our mentors, our elders. Yes, we respect and love y'all like y'all are parents.
And we love y'all just like y'all are kids too.
We don't have that extension. How you speak of, you know, grandparents and great-grand. I definitely don't have that. Husband has very limited of that. Like there's neither one of us have that dynamic. So building our own network of family is something, you know, blood is just the, you know, thing that connects us DNA wise.
That's it.
But a lot of them blood relatives, you know, don't want to be around. We are not on the same essence and energy and flow and purpose in life. So, you know, some people do need to be pushed to the side for your life to grow a little differently. But family, you can add on. The people that complement your life, you can complement their life. It's definitely an added plus and a bonus, you know?
It is.
So, you know, who knows where we've been would be if we have not met. And I always say, you know, everything happens for a reason. And when
It
we
does.
met,
I remember that day. I saw you strolling. I was like, get in the car. Just come on, baby. I know you don't know me, but come on, honey, get in this car. We're gonna be okay.
Pulled up alongside her and get in the car, little girl. I was big and pregnant and everything.
Yep.
But,
I said, baby, get in the car. Come on. But you know, you don't find that's something that I realize now, Nikki, you don't see a lot of that anymore. What is wrong with you people? You can love outside your family.
I tried real hard when I got here. You know, we've been here almost 6 years now. So, you know, being in the school system with the kids, 3 different kids in 3 different school environments, like the parents were not receiving of the type of kindness. I think it was, you know, not normal to them. Yeah. They didn't know how to receive it. So if you women can't receive, you know, a nurturing, kind, genuine, you know, friendship with a female, I can imagine how hard it is for a man. Like, you understand what I'm saying? So I've definitely seen that dynamic, which I didn't have no problem pulling Maddie out of school because, you know, nobody want to connect. It was like 8 people in the PTA meeting of a school of about 1,200 kids. So, you know, shame on y'all. Something's wrong with that to me. You know?
You need to know what's going on with your children. You just
absolutely. And to me, they don't care. They care more about their damn selves, and they make it seem like they care about their children. But I'm not too sure about that. Y'all are not convincing me. And I'm not the one to be convinced. God will judge you. If you believe your creator is, he will see you for that. So, you know, I'm just shining a light on it because we try to ignore it or push it back and don't hold women accountable. So here we go. Come see me every Sunday. Shame Sunday, I'll be here. If anybody want to collab, holla at me. I have no problem with that. You know, it is what it is. Harris Tribe Media Group. I'm gonna hit you with Natalie Clarice. She said some things are just really simple, and we're gonna end it with this. I'm gonna try to hit her up and see if we can get her on too.
Oh, that's
simple. He don't like you. He don't call you. He don't like you. He don't keep his word. He don't like you. He's inconsistent. He has someone else. He only calls you when he wants something. He's using you. He starts random arguments. He's cheating on you. He's not investing in you. You're not worth the investment. Never met his family. You're not the one. Been with your guy 5+ years. No ring. No marriage. He's still searching. You're a placeholder. Men are not complicated. They're very easy to know. Men don't talk with their words. They talk with their actions. Let's go, Nat Nation. Be smart, think smart, choose wisely. And remember, I told you.
She told you we're going to tell you. Think smart, and move wisely. Man going to show you who he is. Fuck what he say. I say it all the time. That's one thing I learned from being surrounded by boys and men. You can say whatever you want, but you're going to show me. And when you show me, I'm going to listen. And I'm going to do what I'm going to do. Either I'm going to leave or I'm going to like what you're doing.
That's it. You don't get that part, though.
I really appreciate her. So if y'all don't know who she is, Natalie Clarice, y'all go over to TikTok and show her some love because she's out here with the good fight trying to spit some truth. And, you know, it is what it is. Tracy, you know I always appreciate you, my sister in this universe, on this earth. Your wisdom is always appreciated. Your smile, your jokes, your gun-toting ass is going down. Don't play.
You already know. Still toting. Just in case I might need it.
Right. But you know, we are this way because we are protectors. You know, we are here to protect these children. So in that masculinity, I would think it's on that force. Let's not act this way with our men, though. You know, it's tamed for him. I couldn't even see you acting like that with Vernon. You know, but when we out in these streets and we have to do some protecting and advocating, we are all for the shit. That's all I'm saying.
No, it's all love and roses and romance up in here. Once I step out that door, though, I got to worry. So, you know,
what I mean? It's a whole different walk of life. It is. It is. You know, but tame yourself. Learn to tame yourself. It's not an easy thing. It's not.
No.
You know, especially growing up around a lot of boys. You know, but when my husband said, listen, that's a bit much, you know, I had to listen. Yeah. And he never had to be violent or, you know, one time he had to say it.
Vernon has had to, you know, pull me by my drawstrings. Like, I'd be like, okay. All right.
Yes.
Yep.
It's supposed to be there to
Nikki,
help.
look, we definitely gonna try to get up there by May.
Please.
Because we've been apart far too long. And I need to play with the kids.
Yeah.
You come and play with the
while
baby.
while I'm healing, we need to just take an extra day or two and come down there so I can be pampered a little bit.
Girl, you know you always welcome here. And we got space. And we good.
Get a little extra pampering while I'm healing.
Everybody needs it. Everybody needs it. Tell Sean I love him. Tell the kids I love them too. Tell them don't do nothing wrong because I will drive up there.
Nah,
hey,
not this one. If he do something wrong, you better ask me what I did.
Oh yeah, I was talking about the kids, not Sean.
Up.
He said what?
He said he miss you and love you.
I miss and love y'all too. We definitely coming up though. Vernon, I'm gonna make sure Vernon I'm gonna cry a lot and be like, you know, sometimes
I'm just gonna call make some plans, man. Come on. We got big enough space, got a whole room and everything for you. Big bed.
All right,
y'all be good.
Sound good. All right, Nick. I'm a holler.
Love you too.
I
appreciate your time. I will talk to you soon. I'm gonna clip it up and show you what I got.
All right, works for me.
All right.
Bye.
All right. Oh, I appreciate y'all popping in today. Shame Sunday. I got to get my dinner started because I have a family to feed and nourish their body, and we got to get ready for the week. Y'all were awesome. And I hope we received a little bit of the information here today, have a little reflection on what's happening with the mother and son dynamic, this son-husband epidemic that you ladies are creating. You should stop it. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, please rewind the tape and, check out the replay. Also leave a comment, share the stream. Because some of you know that you have some friends behaving this way and maybe they need to see a little reflection of the behavior and the effects of it later. Because the men are affected by your behavior. So, be conscious, be intentional with how you're raising these kids. And these boys as well. They're not doll babies, and it's a lot of growth and development going on, and you should be conscious of it. And if you need help and assistance, look for those resources. It's your job, it's your responsibility, nobody else's. My body, my choice. Make better choices. Go check out Natalie Clarice with the TikToks. She's awesome. She got some wisdom to share with y'all. And we're gonna see you next Sunday. Y'all check us out at Harris Tribe Media Group. Every Thursday, he said, she said, Love and Abundance. Cerebro Saturday with Mr. He Said. Y'all pop in and get some of them logical current events and anything he ready to share. So I appreciate y'all popping in, and I'll see you later.
Everything in creation and in physical form has its own fundamental resonant frequencies. Everything in creation and in physical form has its own fundamental resonant frequencies.